Chicago. If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer. It's the answer told by lines that stretch around schools and churches, the numbers this nation has never seen, by people who waited 3 hours, 4 hours, many for the first time in their lives, because they believed that this time must be different, that their voices could be that difference. It's the answer spoken by young and old, rich and poor, Democrat and Republican, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, gay, straight, disabled and not disabled, Americans who send a message to the world that we have never been just a collection of individuals or a collection of red states and blue states. We are and always will be the United States of America.
Somebody's asking how long will prejudice blind the visions of men. I come to say to you this afternoon, however difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth questions will rise again. How long? Not long. Because no lie can live forever. How long? Not long. Because you shall reap what you sow. How long? Not long. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yes, that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. How long? Not long. Because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it's in short justice. How long? Not long. Because mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's trampling out the village where the grapes of wrath are stored. He's loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah.
Oh, yes. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the show. And you know what the show is, don't you? Well, if you don't, that's why I'm here to tell you, okay? So, welcome to Let's Talk About It, Spreaker's most informative political talk show. You know what that means? That means that we give you the most information that you're ever gonna get. Okay? Get ready for all the facts, the fun, and the foolishness. From myself, the wild and wonderful Brenda White, my co-host, the uppity and well-read Jacqueline Lambert, a.k.a. Miss Uppity Speaks. If y'all happen to see her speak up on Twitter or something, you know, Miss Uppity Speaks, that's who she is. And then, of course, from Australia, yes, I do mean all the way down under, Jillian I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar Anderson. Jill chimes in from Australia to tell us what the Aussies think about our crazy political goings on in this country. And they are crazy. Okay, now let me tell you this up front, because you know, we don't have a whole bunch of producers and all that shit. I do all that crap. And so I get to talking, and I'm excited when the show comes on, and I might forget to tell you a couple of things. So let me tell you this. If you're listening to the show right now, and you want to chime in, and if you chime in, don't chime in with nigga. That don't bother us. It just gets your ass booted within a New York second. If you want to chime in and you want to ask Miss Uppity something, or you want to ask Jill something, and our guest panelist from Montreal, Canada, Walter Dubile, excited, and we are too, to have him just sitting around joining us on Tuesday nights, all the way from Montreal. Jackie, aren't we glad? Woo-hoo! So, Walt will be up at 11 o'clock or a little bit after, and he'll be discussing the goings-on with us. But if you're looking at your player, and the player, you know, that means you're listening to me, the player at the bottom, scroll all the way over to your right. You'll see a little heart there. That's the like button. If you like the show, hit the like button. If you don't like the show, don't hit the like button. But don't hit the like button and be fussing about it later, okay? All right. Okay. Then the other thing, there is another little box beside the love sign, and it's got 3 little white dots in it. It's like dark gray or black. Click on that, and you are in the chat room to chat with us, and it gets crazy in here and fun. But we're respectful. You know, we're very respectful, even though we're talking about something that my daddy told me to never discuss with folks, and especially don't discuss with folks who don't believe what you believe, because it can get into a fighting, knockdown, cut your throat, stab you in an ear, Jackie. Daddy told me never discuss politics and religion with folks.
That's right. Politics and religion.
Yeah, because they want to cut you fast and soon if you don't agree with them. And they just know they're right. But here at Let's Talk About It, Jackie, Jill, and I, and Walt, we respect your opinions, your views, and, you know, you probably ain't going to change our minds, but we'll listen to you. Okay? And then we'll boot your ass. Okay. And then after you get into the chat room and have a good time with us, and you need to run out and you don't want to miss the rest of the show, no problem. Spreaker.com sponsors all of the Brenda White shows, and you can dial this little telephone number that they gave me all for free, okay? And that would be 619-550-0516, okay? That's 619-550-0516, and then press the number 5, and you are listening to the show. Now, if you want to call in and say something, I don't know what to tell you, dog. I don't take too many phone calls during the show because it distracts me. But if you want to call in, type in the chat room, let me know. I'll see if I'll let you call me. Okay? All right. Now, Lady G, that's Jillian, I Am Woman, hear me roar, Anderson, is already in the chat room waiting to receive you. And then in about the next half hour, she'll be coming up and start to chat with us and tell us what she thinks and the Aussies think about our crazy asses. And then at 11 o'clock or a little after, Walter Dubile, all the way from Montreal, Canada, will be with us. Now let me take a serious moment. See what Jill is giving us another half of our introduction. Thank you, Jill. Welcome to Let's Talk About It, a serious, sometimes outrageous, and always funny talk show where Brenda, Jackie, and Jill talks about the political news of the day and the goings on in our country and internationally. Go ahead on, Jill. I like it. I think we'll take that one. Okay, but before I turn it over and let Jackie tell you what's going on tonight, I can tell you this much. It's Super Tuesday, sorta, kinda. Right, Jackie?
Well, kinda, sorta, yeah.
Yeah, kinda, sorta. It's like, you know, it ain't like the big Super Tuesday, like the 50% Super Tuesday. Okay? It ain't like, you know.
Well, this Super Tuesday is all about primary elections.
That's right.
And this Tuesday, we have primary elections going on in 7 states. I'm sorry, guys, I just misplaced my notes.
That's okay. I can help you out with that,
Jackie. Being prepared. There are primaries going on in Idaho, Oregon, Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, Georgia, and Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, baby. Okay. And did you see that Miss Nunn in Georgia won?
Yeah, she won the Democratic primary, and everybody pretty much expected her to do that.
Yes, indeed. Well, I feel it's looking pretty good, Jackie. I'm kind of proud. Allison London Grimes of Kentucky.
London Grimes. Yes.
She's one. Okay.
Yeah, and
that's Bill Clinton's girl,
she
right?
Won by her primary by a whole lot. And it's very interesting. You know, we already see now what the general election is going to be like.
Jackie, I like the way she speaks.
Oh, she's a pistol.
What did Mitch McConnell call her?
I don't know.
The dress.
What did he call her?
I think he called her the dress. No,
he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Say he didn't.
Yeah, he called her an empty dress. That's what he called her. And she addressed the crowd last night, and and told them that I am, in the words of Mitch McConnell, the empty dress.
Oh my goodness!
And basically, she kind of said, "And the empty dress gonna beat your ass." I'm just shortening it, you know, Jackie. But boy, she was a strong. And that's Bill and Hillary's friend, right?
Well, yeah. You know, her father was, I believe, a senator. Years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so, yeah, the Clintons know her, and that's why Bill has been out, campaigning.
Yeah, and supporting her and speaking for her, and you know, President Obama said that he needed to be named the president of explaining stuff. Because he does a good job of it. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot a little more of my introduction. Because, I should write this shit down. Because I get so excited when Jackie starts talking or Jill writes something in the chat room. And just knowing that y'all are listening to us, I get so excited. Because I'm just excited anyway to do this show. We love this show. And we're sorry that we were gone so long. But, child, I had moved in 20 years. That thing like to kill me. I broke legs, got bitten by a recluse spider, a brown recluse. I don't know about the yellow ones, but the brown one tore my ass up, y'all. I grew hair on my hands. You know, like the fuzz that the spiders have on them, Jackie? Mm-hmm. I grew that on my hands.
That is really depressing.
That's depressing, girl. Them spiders ain't no joke. Okay, yeah. But I wanted to tell you that I am coming to you live from, I can't take Orlando's slogan. So I got to change it. Orlando, I used to say the city beautiful. So I'm going to say from a beautiful city. Sumter, South Carolina. Okay, where it is. 79 degrees. And I've been outside working in the yard and all sorts of stuff. And now I'm here with you for the next 2 hours. We're here with you. All excited. Ready to go. And remember, here at Let's Talk About It, we believe that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And what else do we believe, Jackie?
Free your mind, honey, and your ass will follow.
All right, well, you got it now, and the show is ready to start. Okay, Jackie, go ahead. That is someone calling me from North Carolina already.
Oh, my goodness.
But I don't think I'm going to take that because we are just in the middle. I'll try to call them back and see who they are. You know, Jackie, it could be an old beau or something.
Well, and not only that, you're already doing all your engineering and production, and
that's right.
Calls is just too much.
And if I answer the phone, Jack, and he says something freaky, bitch, I'm gonna kill you, that won't be too cool.
No, that won't be good either.
So whomever is calling on the cell phone from North Carolina, I will call you back. All right, Jackie, go ahead. Give us a rundown for tonight, what we're talking about.
The topics that we are going to discuss tonight, of course, we're going to talk about the primary elections going on in greater detail, but all of the polls are not closed yet. We're still waiting for results from Idaho and Oregon. Mm-hmm. So after those polls close and we get some idea, then we'll talk about that. But we're going to be talking about the Federal Communications Commission vote on what is being called net neutrality. Mm-hmm. And there's a public comment period for the next 4 months. And we're going to talk about what net neutrality is and why it is important to you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because it is important to all of us. I know that a lot of people think this is just another one of those bureaucratic regulation things. Mm-hmm. Though, darlings, this is incredibly important.
Very important.
And following along with the whole net neutrality discussion, we're going to talk about the proposed merger between Comcast and Time Warner and the proposed merger between AT&T and DirecTV. Okay, that also plays into this whole net neutrality issue as well.
Okay.
Then we're going to talk about the New Hampshire Police Commissioner who referred to President Obama as, I'm going to say it like they say on television, even though I know we can just say the word, referred to President Obama as the N-word.
Called the president a nigger?
Yes.
Again?
He's a police commissioner from Wolfboro, New Hampshire.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and he resigned.
How old is he, Jackie?
82.
Oh, you have to let him go. He don't know no better.
Yeah, well, he resigned, and he said he wasn't going to do it, but he did.
Oh, they all said they ain't going, but they going.
Yeah.
When you white folk gonna realize you cannot call us the N-word no more?
Well, not in public.
Yeah, that's right. Picking and none of that.
Space.
You can't. Yeah. You can't even call watermelon eating, even though we love some damn watermelon and some chicken. But when you call us that...
the other thing that we have on our list to discuss tonight is the sentencing of James Everett Dutchke.
And who does he
Who is from Mississippi, and he was sentenced to prison this week for sending a letter poisoned with ricin to President Obama.
Jackie.
Yes.
Why are people,
he did do that.
Why are people so silly?
He did do that. And the last thing on our list, because, we always have to have something fun to talk about.
That's right.
The last thing on our list today is NFL cheerleaders want to get paid.
Okay, damn. Can't they pay a... Jackie, they could give them a little stipend or something.
Brenda.
What?
I really... Look, we'll talk about that.
Okay, because I can just feel what you was about to say.
I'm supposed to be announcing the stuff. I'm not supposed to be talking about it right now.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll write my thought down that I had. But I think the college football players ought to be paid a little something too.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we can talk about that.
What's that, Jackie? Now, that is a difference.
Okay, but anyhow, the first order of business is the net neutrality site, okay?
Net neutrality.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Federal Communications Commission passed a recommendation, they want to change the rules of the Internet to allow Internet service providers to give companies faster Internet access for a little additional money. Okay? They want to basically divide the Internet into the haves and the have-nots.
Here we go again, all about the Benjamins, baby.
That's right. Some people are calling it the two-lane Internet. And regular folks like me and you and the folks who listen to us and tech companies believe that having the Internet divided like this would violate the notion of net neutrality. And net neutrality simply means that we all have the same access to the Internet. Nobody can slow us down because, for instance, like Brenda and I do this show on Tuesday nights. And even though we have people who enjoy talking with us and so on and so forth, there are a whole lot of people who really do not like the things that we say. They don't like what we say. Okay, we're on Spreaker, right?
Yes.
So let us suppose that people that don't like the things that we say, our internet service providers say, well, we don't like what they say, and we're just going to slow them down. We're going to cut them up. Unless they pay us a ransom. Okay. So the proposal that passed the FCC 3-2, of course. Okay. There are 5 commissioners, and they voted 3-2 to move forward with this proposal. To split the internet in two. Now that proposal is subject to a 4-month period for public comment. And one of the things that I want to impress upon everyone is that they don't really expect to get a lot of public comment. we need to comment. Even if your comments to the FCC are just don't do it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to write a whole long letter like I'm doing.
Yeah, but
Okay.
say something.
Yeah.
Say
but
stop.
They need to be able to count the opposition to this, because the way that this regulation is written is vague, and it gives way too much latitude to Internet service providers.
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, okay, I'm out in California. I'm a Comcast customer.
Mm-hmm.
I, like the majority of other Comcast customers, I hate Comcast. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I hate them bastards. Do you hear me? Okay?
Okay.
If I had any other option for television and Internet, I would kick Comcast to the curb. Why?
Because
I hate them bastards.
they ain't shit.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and for really good reasons. You know, they overcharge. You know, I mean, I feel like, well, you know how you know in your heart that you're just being ripped off?
Yes, Jack, I sure know that feeling.
And you know how you know that you're being just abused when you call folks for help, assistance, and stuff like that, and you have to wait 200 years, and then when you talk to somebody, they don't know, they can't say, y'all, you know, I mean, I hate them bastards. So, anyway.
Well, the listeners are glad to hear you cuss just a little bit.
Oh, I know, and I'm sorry y'all cussing right off the top, but, you start talking about the cable company, it just makes me really mad.
Okay.
So, anyway, the way that these provisions have been written, they are not specific enough. For instance, one of the things that this plan would allow, it would allow for the service providers to charge companies for access to the fast lane. And the chairman of the FCC says that that those rules wouldn't put smaller companies at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, well, the Internet is not really going to be divided into haves and have-nots, because the provision says that all of the deals that the Internet service providers can provide must meet the commercially reasonable test.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sweetheart, what is commercially reasonable to me? What is commercially reasonable for Comcast is for them to make the most money that they can
possibly make.
That is what's commercially reasonable for them.
Thank you. And that's all that's commercially reasonable to them.
Yes, and the thing that also bugs me about this is one other thing. That, I have always believed that the Internet should be regulated as a public utility. Mm-hmm. Just like electricity is, and the sewage system and all that other stuff. I want everyone to just imagine for a moment that your public utility, the people who provide your gas and electric and your water, just imagine for a moment that these are run by private companies who could just charge whatever they felt like charging, who could treat you any way they wanted to. What do you think that would be like?
It would be a nightmare.
It would be a nightmare. And the thing about the Internet is that there is no way on earth that the Internet is not a public utility by definition, just by its usage and what it is.
That's why I was very happy, Jackie, when remember when AT&T was trying to buy out T-Mobile or Verizon or something, and the takeover was stopped?
Yes.
I was so delighted, because I'm telling you, once AT&T takes control of all the smaller companies, or just bully their way in and take the company, we're going to be looking at some outrageous phone bills again, just like we were when we had roaming and all of that shit.
Yes, and what I was about to say is, I don't know how many people in the audience remember when the phone company, AT&T, was a legal monopoly. But even during that period that AT&T was a legal monopoly, and was supposedly really well regulated, and so on and so forth. They just screwed us.
They cheated us, screwed us, and was paying fines and still screwing us. They're just like the banking industry with the housing. People. Yeah,
you
know, they haven't stopped. They haven't stopped cheating these people out of their homes. They haven't gone to jail, and they're paying billions. I get 2 checks a year because I'm a part of that class action lawsuit that they tried to steal my home illegally. They knew I paid the money. They sent the money back over and over and over. And when the judge said that she doesn't have to keep paying you, but you know it's against the law to send her money back to her. But they kept sending it back, hoping enough time will pass. We'll get her about $10,000-$15,000 down, and then she can't pay it because she will have spent the money. Hard times may come along, and we got that house. And that's not what happened. They lost that whole thing. I paid all that money, and they end up having to pay me every year, twice a year, for all their cheating and going on. They paid $800 million. They paid $600 million. They paid, and now this time around, they paid in the billions, Jackie. It just doesn't make any sense. But all they're going to do is
what a lot of these guys determine is that it is cheaper for them to pay the fines.
Yeah, of course it is. Jackie, they'll get that back in a month.
Oh, yeah.
If not a week.
So, so when people say, oh, why do they do that? Because it's cheaper for them.
Yeah, it's cheaper for them.
They've done that cost-benefit analysis, and apparently they don't care about their reputations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Jackie, they don't give a hoot about their reputation.
Yeah, they don't, just like Comcast does not care that I call them bastards and tell everybody I hate them.
That's right, and they're just going to make
because I don't have any choice. I can either pay them or just sit at home with no internet and no television.
And Walt wrote some time ago in the chat room, Jackie, who likes their internet company? Nobody.
Yeah, sweetie, I don't know.
Jackie said, it's not about a lack.
What I also want to talk about in reference to this thing, too, with the internet, is that I want everybody to remember that, for instance, Comcast is run by folks who are really conservative. I mean, Comcast was a member of ALEC.
Oh, Lord.
Okay? I don't know if they still are, but, they have been in big, like with the Koch brothers and those guys, all right? And so, with given their political leanings, I really do not like them having so much control over broadcasting, because now, of course, they own Universal, which is really funny because Comcast owns MSNBC now.
Well, Jackie, they are trying to do this every day. They want to get a hold of all of it so they can tell us what can and cannot be put on the internet.
Yeah, well, let me give you a couple of examples that I ran across that are very interesting about this very thing about political bias, okay? In early 2004, the Walt Disney Company barred its Miramax division from distributing Michael Moore's anti-war documentary Fahrenheit 9/11. The company was concerned that distributing the movie would have endangered Disney's tax breaks for its theme parks in Florida, where the president's brother Jeb was the governor. Okay. And then later, in 2004, the 3 major TV networks refused to air advertises for the DVD of Fahrenheit 9/11. Okay? Now, why would they do that? Why would they do that? In 2003...
because it's true?
Yeah, in 2003, Viacom refused an advertisement that opposed the Iraq War that would have been aired during the Super Bowl. They blocked the ad. And the Viacom CEO, Sumner Redstone, said that he was a supporter of George W. Bush, and he said that I do believe that a Republican administration is better for media companies than a Democratic one.
Right.
Now, this is just a couple of little examples from, a few years ago. But this is the kind of crap that we are looking at. And see, the FCC used to have a provision called the Fairness Doctrine. And it was a policy that was introduced way back in 1949. One of the reasons that we did not have, like, all these right-wing talkers on the radio was because of the Fairness Doctrine. Okay? But, of course, in 1987, during, excuse me, during the George H. Before and during the Reagan administration, I believe it was still, the FCC eliminated the Fairness Doctrine. Okay, now subsequent to that, there was a court challenge to that, and the Supreme Court held that the Fairness Doctrine was legal, and this doctrine simply required that people who have a broadcast license, that when they're reporting on controversial issues of public importance, they had to broadcast both sides of the issue. They had to make sure that their broadcast was honest, equitable, and balanced. That's what the Fairness Doctrine said.
Yes.
And so, for instance, when they go on the radio and they talk bad about President Obama or Hillary Clinton or whatever they're doing, you know, when they go on and talk about how there are death panels in the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
Okay. Under the Fairness Doctrine, they had to allow for rebuttal. Okay, so you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, because the whole point of this
and Jackie,
is to
and
make
because
sure
they
that,
do
that
it,
the public is getting good information. This is one of those, you know, public benefits things, right?
And Jackie, it makes totally good sense, because every time the president gives his State of the Union address, what happens immediately after?
Yeah, they have a Republican to come on and make a fool of themselves.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how much rebuttal it is, but they have a Republican come on and
make a fool of themselves. Yeah, it's supposed to be a rebuttal, but you know, the whole idea,
the whole thing is fair.
The whole idea of rebutting the State of the Union is stupid in the first place.
It's stupid in the first place, but it's fair.
So anyway, but the Fairness Doctrine required equal time for opposing views. Well, it didn't require equal time for opposing views, but it required that different viewpoints be represented. But you had to represent, you know, the whole issue, not just a one-sided view of the issue, right? And even though after, I think it was in 2003, the Supreme Court said that that's okay, in 2011, the FCC just took the Fairness Doctrine out altogether. Okay, so that language is not even in their regs anymore. That's why we have Fox News. That's why we have MSNBC. Even though, of course, since you know, I'm well, they tell me that I'm a liberal. They tell me that I'm on the left. That's what they tell me.
Right.
You know, I think that MSNBC does a far better job with presenting an issue than Fox News does. But then, you know, the Fox News, they don't mind broadcasting any outrageous lie, and they can get away with it.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. And see, one of the things that another one of the things that a lot of these Republican operatives are concerned about is that the Fairness Doctrine will come back. And if the Fairness Doctrine, it does come back, a lot of people are going out of business. Because they won't be able to do the things they've been able to do. So anyway, with the Federal Communications Commission, you know, this net neutrality issue is very, very, very important. These mergers of these proposed mergers are very, very important because we're getting back to monopoly time. And since the Internet is not regulated as a public utility, and since so many people, for instance, get, you know, now their television, their phone, and their Internet access through one, you know, it is through one provider, like so many of us do. I mean, this is really dangerous because we don't want to go. I think it's really interesting that you have people on the right who are concerned about the tyranny of the government. I must tell you guys, honestly, I am concerned about corporate tyranny.
Okay,
because
Jackie.
we don't elect these CEOs and boards to anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there are very few. The only check that we have on unfettered corporate power is government power.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. So I would really appreciate it. We're going to have some things on our Facebook pages, and we need to send this thing viral. Everybody needs to have something to say about this because it's really important, and it will affect us. In my opinion, it will affect us adversely for years and years to come, because once it is done, it will be really hard to get it
undone. That's right, Jackie. Just like Obamacare. But the Republicans can't get that because they hard-headed. Yes. But, Jackie, I don't believe they've tried to take a vote here lately.
Well, no, they have not tried to take a vote lately, but I just saw a little snip on the news ticker that said that in Mitch McConnell's victory speech tonight, in his primary win, he vowed to repeal and replace Obamacare.
Right. He go fix it now.
Now, Brenda, this man, it's sort of like he doesn't understand that he's running for re-election in the state of Kentucky,
Jackie,
where Obamacare has been incredibly successful.
I continue to tell him.
And when he tells those folks that he's going to take away their insurance, that he's going to take away their health care, and, you know, the repeal and replace language had fallen away, and they were just talking about not repealing, just fixing it. But tonight, he got on television and said repeal and replace, and I was thinking, well, I guess that Mitch just really doesn't, he's not really interested in winning re-election.
Yeah. Listen,
but,
Jackie,
you know,
Mitch McConnell, I think
go for that.
I think he's going to have a hard time come the fall.
You think?
I think he's going to have a hard time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that he will, because
Allison is no pushover, baby.
Another thing that he said tonight, that really struck me, is that so he has decided that he's going to run his re-election campaign against Harry Reid and Barack Obama. Because I guess you said that he referred to her as an empty dress.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
He said in his speech tonight as well that the only reason that Allison Grimes was running was because Harry Reid and Barack Obama wanted her to run. But, you know, Miss Grimes, I really like her. And you know how come?
How come?
Because she said that Barack Obama is not on the ballot.
Okay, girl.
And she said that in 2014, you can't change who's in the White House, but you sure as hell can change who's in the Senate. Ooh, hallelujah.
Okay, Jackie, I love it. I told you, girl, she ain't no pushover, and she will speak her mind.
I like her. She's a scrapper.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be a really, really interesting campaign, because Mitch McConnell's unfavorables are really high. And I want to tell you guys another thing, too. And this is one of these geek things, all right? And forgive me for going into my, major geekishness. But one of the things that I always look at in the primaries is how many total votes were cast on the Democratic side and on the Republican side.
Okay. Miss Geek, I want to hear this, too. Now I'm interested. I said, okay, Miss Geek, I'm interested. I want to hear this, too. You and Rachel Maddow.
Okay, please forgive me.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be on this long. But just in the Kentucky race, I noticed that Ms. Grimes, she got as many votes in her win as were cast for McConnell and the guys who were running against him.
Bevin.
So she alone exceeded the votes cast in the entire Republican primary.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that tell you, Brent?
Tell me his ass is in trouble.
Yeah.
That tells me his ass is in trouble, and it also tells me that the people in Kentucky are starting to wake up.
Yeah,
because Allison,
they're just tired of him.
Allison is really crisscrossing the state, and she is telling these people what he has not done for them.
Oh, yeah.
And as much as they hate Obama, they are loving Connect.
Oh, yes.
The governor was, the Democratic governor in Kentucky was smart enough. You never hear him backing down and running from Obamacare.
No.
But he was smart enough to call it Connect. And 450,000 Kentuckians now have insurance that didn't have it. Jackie, I don't care how poor you are. If you love your family and you love your children, if you've ever had to wonder, if my baby gets sick, how, you know, my baby is sick, she's got this, that, and I can't take her to the hospital, I don't know. That is the worst worry, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
And what governor would not allow the federal government to give you this money? Just give it to you to take care of your people.
Well, Brenda,
you know you got to be evil, Jackie, right down to the balls.
Well, Brenda, I just wanted to say a couple things about that. First of all, every state that runs an exchange, okay, their exchange is called something else. In Kentucky, it's called Connect.
That's
California,
right.
it's called Covered California.
Yeah, somebody got smart and said, okay, let's take Obama's name off of it.
Well, no, Brenda, Obama's name was never on it.
You're right, it wasn't. But
okay, the point about the Affordable Care Act is it was set up to be just this way for each state, since each state is different, and because the insurance companies wanted it this way, even though I don't think...
Well, now, look, I'm not one of them people on Jimmy Fallon, so, you know, I knew that his name was not on it, but the Republicans tagged
it. Of course.
The nickname.
Yeah, and the Republicans, I have to say, have done a fine job.
They have. They tagged...
on Obamacare.
They tagged the Affordable Care Act as Obamacare.
Yes, and so they have done a fine job putting stink on that. They've told all kinds of lies about it.
That's right.
And how it's going to... people, but the thing that I find disheartening is that after, 4 years, because the bill was signed in 2010, was it?
Yeah.
Or 2009, somewhere in there.
Something like that, yeah.
But anyway, after all this time, there are still people that don't know.
That don't know.
How can you not know?
Well, Jackie, you know, a lot of people don't want to listen to the news. I'm sick of it. They ain't talking about nothing. Yeah, they are. And they'll sit there and...
also that thing, just like you were saying, the internet, okay? There's a newspaper. Okay, there are all kinds of ways to get information.
Yes, it is.
And I know that people are busy, they're going to work, they're raising their families, all that other stuff. But, you know, this is important. You know, for people who, especially for people who don't have health insurance, but even for someone like me who has had health insurance all this time, I still called my insurer to find out how this was going to affect our health care. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you understand me?
Yes, I do. Because
now, how hard is that, Brenda?
That wasn't hard at all.
No, not at all.
You must be informed, Jackie. Now, shit, you ain't got to call around and see if the new Walmart down the street gonna have the McDonald's inside of it. That's not gonna hurt you, whether you know that or not. But health care, these bastards are running on these tickets to be your senator and your congressman and your president, and you don't know what the hell they stand for, what they believe in, what they've already done.
Thank you. I was about to say, and what they have done.
What they have done and what they're planning on doing to your ass. Something's wrong with you.
Yes,
if you don't get involved. And I'm telling you guys, and I'm going to keep telling you, and Jackie's going to put out an ad about this, all of this internet stuff she started off with. She's going to do a little ad, and we're going to send it out to you. And we hope you'll send it around and get people to just write a word. If they don't write nothing but what the feck?
Yeah, even if the only thing they write is no.
Yeah, if you write hell no, write that. You know, and Jackie's going to do a little ad, and we'll do it together. So I can tell you, you can just write that hell no.
Yes.
We want you to write something. I tell you, there is nothing more than people coming together and putting pressure on somebody's ass to make them stop doing the wrong thing to you.
That's right.
When you start believing that people will boycott your ass, and you know, this is what happened in Marianna, Arkansas years ago, and the black kids totally wouldn't go to school for a whole semester, and we marched those streets and carried those signs until they changed a few things around there.
Yes.
You know, and we had to do it. And I mean, it really jacked our town up for about 10 years. But now, when you come into everywhere in Marianna, there's someone working, black, working here, working there. You have to, people don't always want progress, especially if they fought against, like, you know, slave owners. They didn't think the North had any business down there messing with them, and they're niggers. Our niggers is happy. Ain't you happy, Bob? Willie? Leroy, ain't you happy? Yes, boss, I'm happy. Well, what the fuck you think he gonna say?
Yeah.
If he didn't say you were happy, he was gonna wear your ass out or sell you off from your family, anything to get back at you.
Yeah.
I want these people, you know, Jackie, the fast food people are doing something amazing here lately in this country, and I am all for them. And y'all just keep sticking together, because I don't know how the hell they think they're going to get this food out unless they're going to have robots making the burgers and throwing them down a chute.
Oh, Brenda, and that's one of the things, too, that it's real funny that you said that, because I heard one of these owners of a McDonald's franchise talking about that. Well, it's just going to become more highly automated. It's like, would you please shut up? Please.
Yeah. Okay, because when that machine breaks down and you start throwing ices out,
yeah,
and Jack and the robot gets confused and start throwing milkshakes and shit through windows.
It's not.
You need people.
Yes, of course they need people.
And it's a shame.
But I love the way, you know, when I was in business school, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, as my daughter liked.
You're sick. Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah, that's what she said. You know, back when, because that's one of the things that she says. Well, Mom was in college when dinosaurs roamed the earth, yes.
Uh-huh.
But when I was in business school, we were taught that our employees were assets. Mm-hmm. That's what we were taught.
That's right, Jackie.
Do you understand?
That's right.
We were taught that employees helped us make more money, and so we loved
and
employees.
They were your most valuable asset, Jackie. The way they spoke to your customers, that was your most valuable asset.
Oh, absolutely. And that was one of the things that was just drilled into us over and over and over again.
And now, Jackie, they got the automated teller, and they think she all that.
Right. Our employees make us money.
And she just
that's what employees are for. They make you money.
And listen, Jackie, after being...
They deliver, you know, they are the people who produce your goods and provide your services. Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
You know, Jackie, I have been an AT&T mobile customer for 19 years. Mm-hmm. I became a customer when it was Singular. Mm-hmm. And then when they bought out a Singular, I hated them so badly. I didn't want to do business with them. But they bent over and you know, did a little butt kissing with me to keep me as a customer. So 19 years. How did they lose me? By transferring my call to Indonesia. And having me to struggle with some bitch who couldn't speak English clearly and was cocky. No, that's not when I pay my bill. You pay, and you pay late fee, and you pay recharge. If you don't get off this phone talking to me, I'm going to give you one more chance. Turn my phone back on. You pay late fee, you pay reconnect fee. Bye. Within 10 minutes, I was with Verizon. I've been with them ever since. And last night, I had just a little conflict with a Verizon worker. And I said, darling, you need to stop talking right now. Go get your boss, okay, and put him on the phone, because you're about to lose a good customer. Nobody is going to shut down, stop the grinds over $30. But I'm not going to give you $30 to upgrade for shit. I just bought your phone just a year ago, and it shouldn't be getting hot. If it blows up on me and kill me, you know my family going to sue the shit out of you, right? Stop talking. Get your boss on the phone. And say, yes, ma'am, Miss White. That's all you got to say. Now, I didn't want to get to that point where I got to talk to him like that. But he was talking uppity to me. You know uppity.
Yeah, I know about uppity.
He was talking uppity to me. Like the president do the Republicans uppity. So. And
like I do every day.
Yes, and when that's why they call you Miss Uppity, see. Because she uppity, y'all. See, that's why we call her that. And he went and got his boss, and I said, I guarantee you, your boss is not going to see this and say, whether you talk to my boss or not, you're still going to have to pay a $30 upgrade fee. You're going to lose a customer over a one-time fee. A customer that will pay you every single month for years to come. You're going to die.
Yeah, because apparently that's another thing, too, about the way that they do employees. Apparently they don't train them. They don't understand
no, they don't, Jackie.
that getting a new customer is more expensive than keeping a customer.
Yeah, you're going to get your draws.
The reason that they give you phones for free or at a reduced cost is
yeah.
because they don't make money on the hardware. They make money on the service.
That's right.
And the thing is that, you know, if you have employees, you know, what I was taught in business school, our employees are assets. We make sure that they're well trained and they do their work and give them what they need to do their work.
So don't you sit here with me.
Now, corporations treat employees like they're toilet paper.
And don't you sit here and get uppity with me, telling me, well, you could talk to the boss if you want to, but you're still going to pay that $30 upgrade fee. I said, what you want to bet? I bet you your paycheck. I bet you your paycheck. I won't pay it when it's all said and done because your boss has a little more knowledge than you. I said, you sound like a good kid, like you're going to college or trying to do something, but your first mistake is to tell a customer, nuh-uh, we ain't going to change that because I know that money talks and bullshit walks.
Yes.
And they're not going to lose me over $30. When the manager got on the phone, I told him I was not going to pay it, and if he was going to waste my time about it, let's hang up the phone now. I said, if you don't send me another phone to replace this phone that's about to blow up, then I can't use the service, can I, if I don't have a phone? So we'll just stop it all, right? Miss White, there's no need for that. Overnighted me a phone. It'll be there Wednesday morning. You got a case, a holster, a blippity blop, a bloopity bloop. Damn that $30 fee, and I'm gonna take $20 a month off your phone bill for another 12 months for that worker talking to you like that. I said, boy, you know something about pimping, don't you? He fell out laughing, Jackie. You know I told him that. I said, you know something about pimping. He could keep the hoes straight with that kind of sweet talk. He wouldn't have no hoes fighting him. Y'all know how I break it down to you. Okay, it is time for a commercial to get Jill and Walt on the line. So let me play y'all a couple of commercials, a little music. Jack and I are going to take a 5-10 minute break. Y'all going to enjoy whatever I play for you. And we're coming back with our guest, Walter Dubois, out of Montreal, Canada. I want him to just run down, Jackie, one more time, all of his degrees and shit. What did he get his dissertation in French? What did he say, Jackie?
Impressed.
He said he had a dissertation in French or something. What did he do?
Yeah, I believe that he said that he did his dissertation in French.
Yeah, and what else? Dogs kissing dogs? I don't know.
Would you stop with it? You know, we're
Walt got so many degrees.
Really
we are
impressed
still
with
confused.
ourselves.
But
to have
listen,
someone as distinguished and credentialed as Walt to even talk to us, we appreciate it, Walt.
We sure do. And we love you to death. So we're going to take a short break. Walt is going to call in, and Jill is getting ready to call on Uvu. And I'm sure glad it ain't nobody but Jill, because, baby, I've been outside. I didn't get to fix up and look all sexy, so the rest of y'all, I ain't answering that phone for you, okay? Me and Jill, we women, we can go without makeup with each other. All right, so we're going to be right back. We love you. You are listening to Let's Talk About It, Spreaker's most informative political talk show every Tuesday night right here, baby, at Spreaker.com.
Look around you and you see the many faces you recognize, but you don't know.
I know you're asking today, how long will it take? Somebody's asking, how long will prejudice blind the visions of men? I come to say to you this afternoon, however difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth pressers will rise again. How long? Not long, because no lie can live forever. How long? Not long, because you shall reap what you sow. How long? Not long. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yes, that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God with within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. How long? Not long. Because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. How long? Not long. Because mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's trampling out the village where the grapes of wrath are stored. He's loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, stand for him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
Hi, this is Brenda White of The Brenda White Shows right here at Spreaker.com, inviting you to join me every Tuesday night for Spreaker's most informative political talk show, and that's Let's Talk About It. And joining me to talk about it and always helping to keep you informed is the uppity and well-read Jacqueline Lambert, a.k.a. Miss Uppity Speaks. And also joining Jackie and I all the way from Australia is Jillian I Am Woman Hear Me Roar Anderson, giving us her Aussie point of view on all of our crazy political goings on in this country. So you don't want to miss it. Tell somebody to tell somebody to join us here for Let's Talk About It every Tuesday night from 10 p.m. until 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Here at Let's Talk About It, we believe that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We also believe free your mind, honey, and your ass will follow. And we'll see you right here in the chat room at Spreaker, at
all the evil it will have to end. It's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Well, some folks are gonna get the notion. I know they'll say I'm preaching hate. Hey, but if I have to swim the ocean, well, I will, just to communicate. It's not as simple as talking job, the daily struggle just to stay alive. But it's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm talking about a revolution because I'm talking about a change. It's more than just air pollution. Well, you know, we all got to clean our brains. The only way that we can stand, in fact, is when they get their foot off our back. It's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. What to do? What to do now? I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell you now. Soon you'll know. Soon you'll know.
You are listening to Let's Talk About It, sponsored by the #1 broadcasting network on the net. And that's Spreaker, that's Spreaker, that's Spreaker, that's .com.
Oh, yes, indeed. That's Spreaker. I make some good commercials, don't y'all think? I'm the producer.
Wonderful, Brenda.
Thank you, Jackie.
Wonderful.
I pat myself on the back about them all the time. Oh, y'all, I love that song, Nina Simone, Revolution. I was in here going crazy. I treat Revolution like DJ Tony Sanchez treats that booty call song. He goes berserk. Everybody has to get off the dance floor. He goes crazy when that song comes on. And he is typing about 90 words per second. Can't nobody else say nothing when he hear his damn song, Booty Call. Oh my God, you got to get off the dance floor. Okay, so you are back with the Let's Talk About It. I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White. Joining me to talk about it and always helping to keep you informed, it's the uppity and well-read Jacqueline Lambert. And all the way from Australia, baby. Yes, all the way down under with the crickets and shit. Okay, it's crikey, right? With crackers and words, it's not down. Okay, with the crickets and shit, like I said, is Jillian, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar Anderson, giving us her Aussie point of view on what they think about our crazy goings on in this country. And then Braving the Storm. And I don't know why he do these things to himself. But joining the guest panel list is Walter Dubail, my friend Walter Dubail, all the way from Montreal, Canada. Walt, why you do yourself like that? Why you come?
I don't know. It must be out of love.
But Walt has joined this crazy cast of women, and he takes it very well. So hey, if he's here, I'm here. Okay, Walt, I want you to tell the audience one more time why you are qualified to be on this distinguished panel.
I'm qualified because you invited me. I can't think of any other reason.
Exactly.
I was about to say, there are qualifications to be on this show?
Yeah. Jackie, there
well,
it is.
You got to be able to talk, I guess. I don't know other than that.
You got to be able to talk.
But I didn't know that.
You got to be able to talk, and you must be somewhat of a fool.
Y'all got a little foolishness in
Yeah, you gotta get a little,
I agree with that.
Yeah, you gotta be a little foolish, you know. But as Walt was introducing himself last week, and I said, Walt, tell the people, you know, your qualifications to be here. You don't have a word to. And Walt starts naming off this stuff, and Jackie was like, ooh. And now Walt, she's like, I love him. It's Walt on the show. I love Walt.
Well, I didn't have a real job until I was 26. You know, I was in school at that time.
Walt, were you a professional student, Walt?
I was. I'm still a professional. I would be a professional student. I just enjoy, doing all that kind of thing. I really miss the university up to a point because there's so many things to do.
Yeah, some people like twerking. Walt enjoys reading and literature. Yeah, and learning.
Yeah, we all learn every day. You know what my grandmother and your mother used to always say, Brenda, is that if you go through a day without learning something new, that's a wasted day.
That's a wasted day, okay? And for all y'all know, Walt will twerk a little bit, but what he enjoys most of all is reading the literature, the politics of the world, and so he gets into it with us. Now, I like it all. I ain't too good of a twerker, but I like to twerk in music.
Hey, the music is pretty good there too, right?
Okay,
so,
yeah, and Walt follows me around on Spreaker Boulevard, so, he's friendly that way. But right now, he's fixing to talk some of his politics with y'all. He is qualified to talk about white men because he is one. He can tell
I was only white since about 1920, I think. I'm not sure. Because I think in America, people from Eastern Europe and Greece and Italy and places like that weren't really white until about 1920.
You know what, Walt? I think it was even later than that. Okay,
was it really?
I think it was after World War II, so it may not have been until like 1946.
Well, you just tore up.
So I've only been white for a while then.
Well, you just tore up the whole room. Jill is in Australia.
Speaking of that whole concept of white people, I read the book that Charlie Crist wrote about his leaving the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
And he was writing about that as well, about how his family is from Greece, and his father applied to medical school, and when he went there, he was told that, well, yeah, you're qualified to be in school, but we have reached our quota for Southern Europeans, so you have to come back some other
Yeah.
Jackie,
so, yeah.
Jackie, when Walt said what he said about, well, I don't know about that, Bernard. I've only been white since the 1920s. Jill just about busted a gut in Australia. She fell back on the sofa. She was dying laughing. So this is part of the foolishness, y'all. Okay, so we're informative, we're outrageous, we're funny, we're crazy, we're serious, but then that's where the foolishness and the fun comes in, and this is what keeps you enjoying the show. Okay, Jackie,
Yeah, okay,
second
so
half
now,
of the show.
can
Let's
we-
get ready.
I'm sorry, Brent?
I said this is the second half of the show. Would you please enlighn us to the topics that we will be sharing
so
this
this
time
is the next
around?
story that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, yesterday, Wolfboro Police Commissioner Robert Copeland, who recently acknowledged using a racial slur while talking about President Barack Obama, he resigned yesterday.
Oh, he resigned?
Yes, Copeland had previously refused to apologize or resign over the comments, which were overheard by a resident of the New Hampshire town and acknowledged by Copeland in an email to his fellow police commissioners, in which he wrote, "I believe I did use the N-word in reference to the current occupant of the White House.
Well, at least
For
he
this, I do not apologize. He meets and exceeds my criteria for such."
Jackie, excuse me. How big is this town?
Oh, Brenda, I believe it's less than 10,000 people.
And the sheriff is 82.
Well, he's one of their police commissioners, and yes, he's 82.
Hey, Jackie,
And how this all happened was,
Jill.
he was in the local diner, okay, you know, small towns, and he was talking, and he referred to President Obama using that epithet.
Well, wait a minute. Jill has got to say something, Jackie. You should see her down in Australia. She is going crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's listening. Okay, Jill, so what do you think about the 82-year-old police commissioner calling the president a nigger? The dreaded word.
Well, first of all, when I heard that Walt had been a white man since 1920, I nearly hung up.
Don't start it, Jill. Go ahead. We got to listen. You nuts.
Because I thought, here we go again, not another aging white male who's going to say something dumb and, well, but Jackie, it's a segue into the segment, you know what I mean? I mean, what is it with these old guys? I mean, I know culturally they came from a culture which, you know, that's how they felt and that's how they were brought up, but, like, time has moved on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, do they still drive the same car that they drove, you know, 60 years ago? No. Do they still live in the same house that they lived in 60 years ago? Probably not. Some of them aren't even married to the same person they were married to 5 years ago, you know?
And not even the second person they were married to. Oh, Lord, Jill.
So, you know, time has moved on. And look, I know these people come from a cultural background which they were brought up in, which had a certain set of values. But time has moved on, and they're still coming out with these ridiculous statements.
Jackie, you should. She was about to do a flip on the sofa, Jackie, as you started to read. She was falling back, falling forward, like, oh my God. I was like, if I don't let Jill say something right now, she may throw her laptop.
Oh, do not throw your laptop.
Jill,
it is not worth it. Okay, sweetie?
No.
Walter.
No, I won't. I mean, the fact that he said he meets and exceeds my criteria for such.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
That tells us what his...
Well, it depends on what his criteria... It depends on what his criterion happens to be, right?
I was about to say, Jackie, it could be two Guinness dances together. What the fuck? I mean, who knows what his criteria is?
Oh,
and it can't be very much when you're...
so twisted.
It can't be very much when you're that ignorant.
Okay, but let me just finish up with this story, okay?
Okay, wait, DJ Tony Sanchez in the chat room wrote, good for the some bitch. Don't start. Okay, go ahead, and then I want to hear Walt's comments on this.
Okay, yes, I'm just going to finish up real quick, guys, and then,
go ahead.
and then I'm going to shut up and let the games begin. Okay. This little town, Wolfboro, apparently Mitt Romney has property or his vacation house or something there, and he released a statement that where he spoke out against the vile epithet which this man used about President Obama, and Mitt Romney said he should apologize and resign. And after Mitt Romney released that statement, the guy resigned, but he has never apologized. Okay?
I'll be damned if I apologize.
That's right.
Nigger.
I won't apologize. I'll be damned if I do. So anyway, there you go. Okay, let the games begin. Yes, I'm done.
Well, I'm damn. I ain't gonna apologize to you, no matter what you say. I don't give a damn where you went to school either. Walt, that's you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm kind of beyond this sort of foolishness, right? We keep on seeing this kind of stuff where you have a non-white president of the United States, the representative of the Queen in Canada is a Haitian lady from Montreal. I mean, haven't we gone past all this stuff? I mean...
Walt said, Jackie said, I don't know what to say.
But some people are just going to hold on like grim death, I guess.
Well, I think, speaking of Tony and the people in Chicago, I was watching the WGN News the other day, and it sort of surprised me. They had a black gentleman on who happened to go to jail for 20 years for something he didn't do, armed robbery situation and so on, and he was suing the city for a certain amount of money and all that kind of thing, or Cook County or whatever happens to be the case. But what really surprised me even more was the fact that apparently there was another man who had been convicted for a crime of the same type, and he was in custody at the time that he was supposed to have committed the crime, but he still went to jail for 20 years. How does that happen?
I know that's not...
Well, it does not.
I mean, I know that's Cook County.
Yes.
When the craziness hits them, they cannot stop the train.
Yeah.
It's just, I got hit by the dumb stick, and I got to keep being dumb, even though I feel better now. The dumb stick, it hit me, and so I just got to continue being dumb. I don't understand.
This is one of the things, though, that Attorney General Eric Holder has been talking about.
Yes, I saw that. What was it, Morgan State or something? The commencement thing.
Yeah, that he, if the justice system is dumb, okay, if the justice system is not just, why should the citizens follow the law? The citizens have to have some confidence in their justice system.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
I got to tell you guys about the time that I was almost arrested.
Please, Jackie, what did you say? You? Now, if you'd have said me and the times that I was arrested, I would find that not so funny, because that's true. But you, this happened.
This happened last year, and so I'm going to tell you guys that sometimes the justice system gets it right. Okay. This happened last year. And actually, this is like an inside joke in my family now, because do you know what I got for Mother's Day this year?
No. Handcuffs?
I got a T-shirt that is printed on the front. I did not choose the thug life. It chose me. Yeah, that's what I got.
Tony just wrote in the chat room, not Jackie. Now, see,
I know.
If that had been me, they would have been laughing.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go real quick.
Okay.
I'm driving down North Main Street in Salinas, California. It's about 11:30 on a Saturday night. I was going to pick my daughter up, who had been working at the rodeo, because in California we don't have rodeos, we have rodeos, right?
Oh.
So I'm driving down the street. It is July. My car registration expires in July. I had gotten my new sticker, but I, being the person that I am, do not always put my sticker on immediately. Okay. But anyway, it's still July, but I look in the rear view, and I'm being pulled over by Salinas PD. This young, good-looking Latino officer gets out of his cruiser, And he comes over and he says to me, ma'am, do you realize that your registration is expired? And I said, my registration isn't expired, officer. I just haven't put the tag on. Here's the tag right here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, okay, well, may I see your license and insurance and registration and stuff? And so I give him all my stuff, even though I have shown him, like, the tag and the registration that I had in my car, just not on my license plate. Okay. Mm-hmm. He goes back to his cruiser and does his thing. He comes back to the window, and he says, Mrs. Lambert, do you realize that there is a warrant out for your arrest?
Oh, no. What? For Jackie?
Yeah, and I'm like, I beg your pardon?
Jill is sitting in Australia with her hand over her mouth, Jackie. Surely you just...
Yeah, there's a warrant out for my arrest. Okay, guys. And so anyway, and he says that he's going to have to go. He says that he could arrest me right then and tow my car, you know, and I'm sort of like, oh, crap. And he says he's going to have to go back to his car and check on some other stuff. So I get on my cell phone, and I call my husband, and I'm like, you know, baby, you're probably going to have to get some bail money together because I'm out here on West Main Street, and this officer pulled me over, and he told me there's a warrant out for my arrest, to which there's silence on the other end of the phone, and then my husband goes, what?
I know, Miss Uppity going to jail?
Okay, so I look in my rearview mirror, you know, and I see that the officer is back there. He's talking on his radio, whatever. And then he comes to the back to the car, to my window, and he says that it was something about I was supposed to be in court for some sort of traffic thing in 2007. Okay? And I didn't show up for court, and there was a warrant for my arrest. And I was like, no, because I remember paying a giant fine in 2007. So I don't understand this. And he says, well, ma'am, you know, you need to get off the phone. And I'm telling my husband, Jamie, I got to go.
I'm going to jail.
So anyway, he goes back to his cruiser, and at that time, the supervising officer comes up. You know, dude looks like sergeant, a lot of stripes. I'm looking in my rearview mirror. I can see him reading this kid the riot act. I mean, he is just cussing this kid out. All right? So after he cusses him out for like 5 minutes, then the guy comes back and he says, well, Mrs. Lambert, I'm just going to give you this little citation, and if you could just please go to traffic court on the date that's down there, I'm sure this will all be straightened out. And I was like, well, thank you. Oh, and please put your sticker on your car. Okay. So I go, I pick the kid up, this and that. All right, but they let me go.
Yes.
With just a citation.
Okay.
So I show up to court, right? I'm in traffic court. I still don't know what the hell's going on, right? I'm in there with all these other people. The judge is handing out gargantuan fines like she's giving away candy, right? Okay. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, this is messed up. This is really messed up. Maybe they'll just let me go to county jail for a few days, okay? I'm really thinking this, right?
And Jackie, she was moving it fast, too, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah, she was just going. She was just tearing them up. So then she calls my name. I go up to the podium, and, you know, because I wasn't sure what happened, I had just pled no contest, okay? So anyway, when I walked up to the podium, the judge looks up, she looks at me, there's this big smile on her face, and she just starts laughing, right? Bailiff starts laughing, clerk starts laughing. I'm like, what the shit? Are they going to lock me up? You know. The judge looks at the thing, and she says, Mrs. Lambert, how are you today? And I said, oh, I'm just fabulous. And she says, the look on your face says something different. It's like, yes, Your Honor, I really have no idea, and I'm sorry, I have no documents. And she's like, well, do you still own this vehicle? It's like, no, I got rid of that vehicle a long time ago, and this and that. And she was like, well, it says here that you were driving without insurance. I was like, I never drive without insurance, Your Honor. You know, that's not true. And she said, and there was something about your driver's license. And I said, I had walked out of the house without my purse. Okay. And so that's what happened. That's what I recall the best. She says, okay. And she's like, and so you've never had any suspensions or anything? And the clerk is over there tapping on the computer, you know, and she says, oh, she's got nothing. She's got no suspensions. So she doesn't even have any speeding tickets. And then the judge and the bailiff and the clerk, they fall out laughing again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the judge looks at me and says, well, Mrs. Lambert, you know, I'm just going to dismiss these charges. And would you please pay, like, you know, just a $50 administration fee since, you know, today, but, you know, the rest of these, this is going to be dismissed. And I was like, yes, I can do that. Okay, well, here's your ticket, and thank you very much, and you have a good day.
Next.
And as I am walking out of that courtroom, guys, they are still just cracking up.
Well, Jackie, I'm sure it's because you look so uppity. Y'all, you should see her.
No,
see
I
her.
mean, the judge looked at me. The look on her face was like, why are you here? You know, what are you doing in my courtroom?
Yeah, that's because you look uppity.
Okay, so $50, I'm out the door, you know, and as I'm going out the door, you know, I hear her, you know, finding somebody $3,500. I was like, oh, Lord.
Okay.
Thank you. But I'm sure that it was just some kind of administrative screw-up.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, that could have gone really bad for me.
Yes, Jackie, it sounds just horrible.
Because, you know, I mean, like a warrant for my arrest, really. And so my husband and my daughter, after I got home, they were laughing at me. So all these years we thought we knew you. We didn't know you were a thug.
A thug. And then they bought you a T-shirt.
Yeah.
How wonderful.
But the thing about it is now, we have to ask ourselves, though, given that situation, what if my husband had been stopped, Brenda?
Oh, you said that to say this like Rachel Maddow.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie, he would be in jail.
That's right.
They would have locked him up.
That's right. What would have happened if my brother had been stopped?
They'd have tased him. Gia, you know they would have tased him.
But this goes to the vagaries of our justice system. You know, I'm a middle-aged black woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't pose a threat to anybody.
Okay.
You know, nobody that doesn't threaten me anyway.
Well, Jackie, it's your tongue. It's your tongue.
I'm sorry?
It's your tongue.
What do you mean?
You're speaking on these matters. That's your threat. Your tongue.
Okay.
I know I said it in a sex way. Your tongue.
Yeah. So anyhow, you know, but I told you all that long, stupid story just to say that had it been my husband, who was a 6'3", gorgeous black man, what would have happened to him?
Yeah, they'd have tased him, but they'd have let Walt go home.
Maybe not.
My daughter. Well, I'm sorry. My daughter is in the background going, "Did I tell you my thug name?" No, I didn't. In my family now, I am known as Thaddeus the Thug.
Thaddeus the Thug.
Yes.
Well, Jack, I must say, all the times I ever been to jail, I deserve to go somewhere. Somewhat.
You love that all the times I've ever
all
been
the times I've been arrested, I deserve to go somewhat, but all of my charges have always been dismissed because I get in the jail and I always start singing. So the first time I ever went to jail is because I busted the sheriff's head open with my Isoplus shoes or something. I beat the sheriff up. Me and him got to fighting. And a state trooper comes by, and I'm on the sheriff's back with my arm around his neck, busting him in the head. He's bleeding. He tried to get his gun, and my sisters have got his gun and thrown it away so he can't shoot me, and I'm just riding his back, whooping him with this shoe. But he put his hands on my sister when she was pregnant, and I told him don't touch her. And I promised him, if he touched her, Matt Dillon couldn't shoot fast enough to keep me off of him. And he did it, and girl, I was like a cat on him. Well, the state trooper came by, and the sheriff was trying to put cuffs on me, and the state trooper said, "You hadn't gotten cuffs on all this time. Let it go." I'll take her to jail. He's like, the state trooper's looking like, you already took an ass whooping. The man had to be 6'4" or something. And I am riding his back, holding his neck, whooping him in the head with my shoe. And so the state trooper takes me to jail. And he says, "Do you know where you are?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in Arkansas." He's like, "No, do you know where you are really?" You're in Bisco, Arkansas, where the Klan and stuff hangs out. They will kill you down here, and your parents will never see you again. Now, when you get to that jail, you better be nice and get yourself. Why were you beating the sheriff like that? Because I told him not to put his hands on my sister. And he did. And I had to keep my word to him. I promised him I was going to get his ass if he touched her. She was pregnant. And the state trooper, okay, I understand. But when you get to this jail, you better get nice. And I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. I get to the jail, Jackie, and I empty my pockets and lay out everything. I'm very, very nice. And they put me in my cell. And I get back there, and I'm looking around. And I just start singing, memories like the chorus of my
Oh, I thought you were going to say you started singing Nobody Knows the Trouble I See.
the whole Datburn staff, the sheriff is at the hospital getting stitches, and the whole damn staff comes in there, unlocks the door. You come out here and sing to us. And I'm smiling, okay, I'll get my shoes that I beat the sheriff with, and he's somewhere getting stitches, and I come out there in the lobby and sing to them. And I'm like, please, my sister and your mother and Ollie Neal, Judge Neal, came and got me out of jail. And the other time I went to jail, I wasn't doing nothing in the words of Bernie Mac, and they just arrested me. So he arrested me for calling my boyfriend from the lobby, who was a federal judge, and I was there to take us to dinner. And these two undercover,
pretty, you just look too pretty.
These two undercover cops, they just knew I was a hooker. And when they tried to take me to jail and arrest me, well, the fight broke out. And I'm whooping two of them. When my boyfriend, Ralph Judge, comes to the second floor balcony, he hears all this commotion, and he said, stop, hey, what's the matter? Baby, what's going on? They trying to accuse me of being a hooker and that. And I'm busting them with fists and fighting and kicking, and they're falling down and getting up, and Ralph's, baby, stop. Oh, no, they ain't gonna call me no hoe. I'm still fighting and carrying on. And so my date, Ralph Judge, runs downstairs, and girl, they pulled a gun on him. You can't help her now. And he said, wait, that's my girlfriend. She's here taking me to dinner. No, she's going to jail. And I'm just fighting. And Ralph said, baby, please stop. Just go with them. Go with them. And I was like, well, all right then.
Yeah,
and then I say, you're not putting cuffs on me.
Everybody, this was when she was real young.
That's about 21. I was about 21, 22 years old. But they take me to jail, and Ralph and my attorney comes right away and gets me right out. And when we go to the hearing, and when my boyfriend takes the stand, and the judge says, they ask him his name and what he does, and he said, I'm Ralph J. Judge, and I'm a federal judge for the federal government. And then my attorney says, do you know that woman sitting right there? Yes, I do. That's my girlfriend. I've been dating her about 4 months, Brenda Robinson. Oh, my God. You should have seen these two undercover cops when they got on the stand, Jackie. They were just shaking like a leaf on a tree. They were like, we fucking didn't know. And anyway, I got $2,500 out of that deal. So I must say that my justice system in the times that I've been to jail has always worked out for me. And I never got beat up or nothing. But everybody else is not fortunate enough. And I did not hear Eric Holder say that. Y'all, this is how we got into the jail stories. Because Eric Holder said something very profound. And what was it he said yesterday, Jackie?
No, he was just talking about how that if the citizens do not feel that their justice system is just, why would they be compelled to follow the law?
Okay. Hey, Jackie,
if they're going to screw you anyway.
Absolutely.
So, that's really very important, because just like the story that I told, and then said, now, what if that were my husband?
And now just about
Brenda, what if that were one of your brothers?
Jackie, and as you were saying what Eric Holder was saying, and I laughed. I wasn't laughing at what Jackie was saying, y'all. My eyes fell on the chat room, and DJ Tony,
don't do that.
DJ Tony wrote, his ass would have got to beat down.
Yeah.
And you're right, Jackie. And if it had been my son,
yeah,
3'6'4", strapping, dark, handsome young man, he would have gotten the beat down.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've got to change. Walt, now you have no death penalty in Canada, right?
No, there's no death penalty here.
And Walt, what do you think about your justice system there?
I haven't had very much contact with it.
Walt, see, Walt gonna show us up now. He didn't.
No.
He never went to jail. No.
Well, you are too.
Walt, go ahead.
You are too.
I don't think there's really a whole mess of problems with the judicial system here, because things are a lot less dramatic than they are in the United States. There is a certain number of high-profile cases and things of that sort, but basically speaking, I really don't. There are other few cases, but there really isn't a lot of controversy about how the justice system works here.
Oh, that's nice.
Tony said, "Way to go, Walt."
It's a different system. It's a different mentality here.
Yes, it is.
You worry more about getting stopped for traffic tickets and because that's a good way of raising money, and you worry about a lot of other things. If you were I've actually I've had a couple of students who worked for the police, and I also have some people I know. I do a lot of bowling, and and I know some people who are ex-cops and stuff like that. And I don't think, except in certain sections of the city, and maybe things have gotten a little rougher now in certain places, but it's not really anything like what you hear basically on the crime shows. And I think even you see that if you watch TV and you notice that the Canadian crime shows, there's a couple of them that are on network TV now, and you look at the way that they treat the subjects that they do, and they're more involved in the sort of human stories and that type of thing than they are really violent crime. Whereas
and people that go
your American shows are basically shoot the guy.
People that break
the God sort them out.
People that break the law, they love to run to Canada if they can get that far, because they're treated so humanely, supposedly treated so humanely in your justice system. And even if they murder somebody and they're in prison for life, they don't. The situation is still not as bad as in America.
No, I don't. That's true. I think that I mean, there are problems. Obviously, and there have been problems in some of the jails and stuff like that over the years, but it's not at the same proportion that you see in some of the states.
Well, if I have to throw a brick and run it here in the U.S., Walt, I'm coming straight to Canada.
Well, the surprising, I don't know where I read this, but I read this somewhere. The surprising statistic that I read says that 25% of the world's prison population are Americans. It's kind of
that's right,
not proportional to the.
Oh no. The only let me see. I think that we are right behind Rwanda. In how many of our citizens are incarcerated? I mean, we're just I'm sorry. Rwanda is right behind us. We're number one now
in the amount of people incarcerated.
Yeah, the percentage of our population that's incarcerated.
Jill, how's your crime in Australia and your prison systems?
Well, our prison systems are very similar to yours. That they're overrepresented by the dark-skinned population, the Indigenous population, which. I don't really know the statistics, but the majority of people in the jails aren't white here, and it's more social than actually criminally led, if you ask me. The justice
y'all don't lock up.
People seem to be able to get away with things on technicalities. So, for example, the officers investigating a crime will forget to do something, or they'll move a piece of evidence, and then the focus of the trial becomes that issue, and criminals seem to get off. But we have some crazy crimes here at the moment. People are crashing their cars into people's houses. They'll get drunk and they'll go crash their car. It's like every week, and or maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
And the reason
on the news, it'll leave the news.
And the reason they're doing this is for what?
Who knows?
Insurance money.
Who knows? They get fined.
Now, let me ask you something else.
Jail time.
You know, Jill, I lived in Japan for 6 months, and they don't have life insurance policies, so to speak. Does Australia have that? Do y'all have life insurance policies?
Yes, we do. Yes.
I don't understand why they don't, but they don't. And they don't have checkbooks, Jackie, in Japan. The only people that really deal with checks are the banks with big business or something. But all of the citizens have like a check card like we do. And they all have to pay their money from that card. There are no checks.
Brenda, can you tell me how we got?
I was just curious. We were asking about their criminal system because of what Eric Holder said. And so I've always wanted to know that. And so I took the time to ask it. Seeing as how...
You know, usually, guys, I can follow Brenda's train of thought, but there are times that she just loses me completely.
Well, yeah, I lost it because I just wanted to know that.
I still have the image of her on the back of the sheriff. You know, I haven't gotten over that quite yet, but that's okay.
Well,
like I said, she was just real young and wild.
I am going to tell you, well, yes, and I want to say to
Jillian, I also want to ask you, now, in Australia, do you guys have the death penalty?
No, we don't.
Don't nobody like that but us, Jackie, and the Chinese.
I know. And when was the death penalty abolished in Australia? Or did you guys ever have it?
Probably the turn of last century.
You know, Brenda,
don't nobody
I think that it's really wonderful that we have this international show thing going on. But I tell you, the more that I talk to Jillian and Walt, the more I feel like I'm a barbarian.
Okay. Not only that, and that we're living in the wrong country.
Yeah, you know, that we're living in the savage nation, you know. Yeah.
I can't wait to visit Australia. I've been to Montreal, but I can't wait to come back and visit Walt.
Oh, yeah. Good. Yes, Montreal is really lovely. Well, listen, guys, I know that we started off with this police commissioner resigning.
Yeah, and it was crazy.
But I also wanted to go to the Mississippi poison pen because this story is too funny. And then I know we're going to have to get on the primaries, but I did want to talk about this
okay, please do, Jackie. Well, you know, it's our show, and we can talk however we want to talk. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right. Here's something. Here's when I first heard this story on National Public Radio, and so I had to go to the internet to look it up because I was going, huh? What? Huh? Okay. Here's the story. A Mississippi man who pleaded guilty to sending letters dusted with the poison ricin to President Barack Obama and other officials was sentenced Monday to 25 years in prison. James Everett Dutchke, I think that's how his last name is pronounced, Deutsch, was sentenced by U.S. District Judge Sharon Aycock in Aberdeen after telling the judge that he had changed his mind about wanting to withdraw his guilty plea in the case. He also was sentenced to 5 years of supervised release and remains in federal custody. He waived his right to appeal. The 42-year-old Tupelo resident sent the letters to Obama. Republican U.S. Senator Roger Wicker and Mississippi Judge Sadie Holland, and what prosecutors have said was an elaborate plot to frame a rival, Paul Kevin Curtis. You guys remember the story now? The poison letters addressed to Obama and Wicker were intercepted before delivery, but one letter reached Holland. She was not harmed. Now, the thing that's funny about this story is, first of all, ricin is not like the easiest thing in the world to make or acquire, but this person did this, right? And to send these letters, like, to the president and things like that, I mean, everybody knows that U.S. mail, just regular mail, does not go directly to any politician's office. Because after that whole anthrax thing, there is a clearinghouse now in the Postal Service. So if you write a letter, if you want to write your congressman, for instance, just send them an email. Because it'll take them 20 years to get that letter.
Okay.
Okay. And so I just, you know, this is like, you know, stupid criminal crap.
Yeah. World's dumbest.
oh yeah, this is like just the world's stupidest thing. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, what would make a human being do this? Because this whole story is something about, you know, Elvis impersonators, okay? You know, a rival Elvis impersonator that he wanted to get rid of for some reason. And instead of just going over shooting the guy in the head, he comes up with this plan.
Yeah, that's going to lead dead back to him. I was about to say, well, these kind of people, you know, they're the ones who still believe that Elvis is alive.
Well, I guess.
And if you say that to me, I'm walking the other way, okay?
Oh,
you know, there's no more conversation if you think Elvis is still alive. You know, we were on Facebook one night and we wrote, we were discussing maybe the Trayvon Martin case or something, and lots of people were chiming in on these things, and someone wrote that Trayvon was threatening to George Zimmerman and blah blah blah, and I was wondering how he saw this. You know, how could he be threatening to him? I mean, Trayvon wasn't some martial arts expert. He didn't have a gun, and if he was so scared of him, why did he follow him? So this guy is coming up with all this ridiculousness, and I just stopped and said to him, do you believe that President Obama is the legitimate president of the United States? And he wrote back, I don't know. If they say he is, conversation over. You could get right to I don't even talk to those people. I get right to the core, and I find out if you believe that President Obama is the legitimate president of the United States, do you believe that he was born in Hawaii, where the papers in Hawaii back in the 60s said that announcement? Do you believe that? Do you believe in climate change? Those are my 3 questions to him. And, well, I'm not a scientist. Okay, no more talking to you.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye. Yeah, don't waste people, don't waste your breath with these crazy people. And somebody just asked him one question, you believe Elvis still alive? He would have been locked up already.
I think it's sort of hard to believe some of these things. I mean, I know all this exists, right? But it's sort of hard to believe it sometimes.
It is, isn't it, Walt?
But I love that Walt says he knows that it exists. It's an intellectual thing, but you just can't make that visceral connection, can you all?
Let me say something. I mean, you know, I've been around my share of crazy people too, right? I
mean, he met his share of crazy people.
I mean,
too.
I'll take it by one of my uncles who is now dead, but you know, this uncle was a Marine in World War II. He lived in a small town in New York State, a rural town. He ran a gas station. He was a war hero. He had guns. The only guns I ever saw in my life were his rifles for hunting. Mm-hmm. And so he was like what you would think of as rural New York, rock rib Republican kind of thing, and even he voted for Obama.
Okay, yes.
I mean, what's going on here?
Okay, what'd you say? You know something's going on now if he voted for Barack Obama. You know what? Because there are some sane ones. And if I meet a sane one, then I might talk to him. But when I just get my, you know, just like that guy that jumped up and paid my grocery bill, it was a small amount, but he paid my grocery bill when I first moved here at the counter at the store, and he was trying to make a move to get to talk with me, you know, and he was telling me all the places he wanted to take me and la 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 la. It's cold as hell out here. Okay, you can call me and tell me this later, you know. I'll give you my number. You bought my groceries. What the hell? Okay, so I get home and he's texting me, and he says, "How do you think I look?" And I said, well, I mean, no, come on, tell me, what do you think? How old do I look to you? And I said, well, this card, you look about 35 or 40 years old. But the person I met tonight, I didn't want to exactly say.
You didn't want to bust him out? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to bust him out. And he went on talking, and we're kind of laughing. And then he started asking me about seriously dating me and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, okay, I have a few questions for you. And I said, do you believe that Barack Obama is the legitimate president of the United States? Do you believe that he was born in Hawaii and that the newspaper was not rigged back in the 60s because they knew he was going to become the president in the 2000s.
2008, yeah.
Yeah, and then I wrote, do you believe in climate change, and do you trust the scientists who are giving us this information? And about 10 minutes passed, and there's no response. And I wrote, knock, knock. And he said, I'm just trying to figure out how to answer your question. And I said, oh. He's a crazy one. He's a Tea Party Republican who ain't got no sense. And he wrote back and said, well, they say he's the president, so I believe he's the president.
Oh,
and,
they say.
They say. And I'm waiting on the next response. And he said, I'm not a scientist. I'm not either. Exactly. That's why I leave that to the experts, the scientists. I'm a singer, and they ain't got no business trying to do Tina Turner or me. But when it comes to...
I only have one thing to say to all this, which is that if that's how easy it is to get a date, I could have probably done it.
Listen, well, they have no idea where I'm going when I ask those questions, but where I'm going is finding out where your crazy ass is thinking. And if you don't believe in the scientists and the climate change and that we can destroy... I mean, look at L.A. from years ago until they started changing, until they made some laws about the emissions and all this stuff, and what you were allowed to just burn, yeah,
well, that's up to my daughter.
You can even see the skyline.
My daughter's 19, and she always talks about how, you people think you're going to leave us this dirty, filthy world. We're just not going to have it.
Right. So they have no idea where I'm going, Art. I know that, I know that is way off target when you're talking about, and when somebody's asking about dating you. But if you don't believe that this man was duly elected twice...
I'm still trying to understand how... Well, I guess the Republicans figure they cheated so hard, there's no way he could be legitimately elected.
Yeah, and they lied to each other so that they could get each other's money so hard.
Oh,
that
yeah,
they just...
Bryn, that was another thing that I wanted to talk about.
What's that?
Too, is that, do you guys know that... this whole far right wing rhetoric and these guys, I mean, this has turned into an industry. It is an industry. There are people who are getting super rich.
Yes, it is.
Off this stuff.
And Jackie,
what annoys me the most is like when you think back to the government shutdown, a lot of money was made by these folks during the government shutdown. And I fear for our democracy just because these kind of cuckoos that we have elected representatives, supposedly.
We've got a lot to fear, Jackie.
Nut jobs.
Yeah, we've got a lot to fear.
Possible?
And let me tell you this. I've been telling you, and now that we've got Walt and Jill, we can get in on this money-making deal. They're having seminars to tell you how to talk to women. Now, your ass is barbaric if you got to go to a seminar.
Women, they're just like people.
Yeah, your ass is barbaric if you've got to go to a damn seminar and pay $1,500 for some dumbass white boy to tell you how to talk to women. Just talk to people. I mean, just be respectful to the next person talking to you. White, black, woman, boy, girl. Now, some of these little kids, you have to hit them in the throat. You can't always talk to them on that level, but... but what does it matter if you're woman, man, black, or white? But they're teaching each other. So we can teach them what to say and what not to say. Don't say that, dog. If somebody asks you... And we could send Walt and Jill...
And I've got to share something with you guys. I'm reading this book. Well, I'm always reading something. But I've got to find this quote in this book that I'm reading now. The book is entitled James Henry Hammond and the Old South, A Design for Mastery. And the reason that I got this book is because of actually because of this show. Because we were talking about the attitudes that so many of the Tea Party types have, and when you talk about the militias and those guys, I mean, this stuff comes straight out of the Confederacy.
Ooh, hey, right? Jill, how would you like to be married to one of the militias out in, Nevada?
I wouldn't, because they would put me out to be shot first.
Jill, Jill,
they put me out to be shot first. I think my mouth gets me into trouble, Jackie. I just say exactly what I feel and think at the time if I'm pushed. Sometimes I can hold my tongue and be polite in polite society, but when it comes to some certain people, I just say what I just...
You know, Jill and I are sisters.
You would be in the line behind me.
Jill and I are sisters. We're both Aquarius, and we cannot keep our bleeping mouth shut when we meet an idiot.
Well, that's why we adore you so.
And so Jill and I are the same. That's why we fell in love with each other right away. So here's my plan now. While we're doing all this stuff, we can make some money, Jackie. We'll stay in the back, or we'll come out and act like Ben Carson, like we hate black people, and Obama's putting them in slaves. And then we can hold these seminars, $1,500, and we'll tell you how to talk to black people and what not to say.
Okay, but here's the quote, guys, okay?
Okay.
Now, John Henry Hammond, he was the last United States Senator from South Carolina before the Civil War. He owned lots of plantations and slaves, and he was a sexual predator. I'll put it that way. Because this guy, not only he's a guy who it was okay to have sex with the slave women and for them to have children that were enslaved on your plantation, but you never sold those ones. Mm-hmm. You never sold your blood. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, this guy was educated, at South Carolina College, which was where, all of the aristocrats went to school.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his major professors was a man named Robert Henry,
mm-hmm.
who, when they were studying the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and all that, when this guy John Henry Hammond was in college, he told them that he informed his students that men were not born in freedom and equality, but in specific social situations that differentiated them from one another on a hierarchical social scale.
Okay.
Everybody got that?
No, I did not. Please give it to me again.
Okay, Jillian, did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. Yep.
Okay. So this idea that all men are created equal.
Uh-huh.
He was taught, the professor taught them, that men were not born in freedom and equality. You are not born in freedom and equality, but in specific social situations that differentiated them, that differentiated people from one another on a hierarchical social scale. So he believed in a strict social hierarchy that you are born into. Okay? So there is no such thing as equality and freedom. It all depends on what your social status is when you were born.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, if you think of society as a strict hierarchy, you start to understand the attitudes of these people, like the old guy we were talking about in New Hampshire, the commissioner, who, wants to refer to President Obama as the current occupant of the White House. You come to understand these things better.
Jackie.
Well, that helps me to understand it better because, President Obama asked the question, how can you be so mad about people having health insurance? Well, if you believe that these people in the social order should not have health insurance, should be exposed to the vagaries of the marketplace when it comes to their health and their health care because of the situation that they find themselves living in or are born into. See, that's how you can get mad because those people don't deserve to have what you have because they are beneath you in the hierarchy.
And the minute they start to say, you people, Jackie, you already know.
Yep. Exactly correct. Yep. And so, anyway,
that's a clue.
I have been reading a ton of stuff about the Confederacy lately. And I have to tell you, it has helped me to understand a lot of the attitudes that we're running into now a little bit better.
Well, that's good, and I've always understood them. They just can't move past back in the day, y'all would have been picking cotton. Y'all wouldn't be sitting here being able to talk about us like this. And, you know, you're just picking in and you need to shut your mouth. They're never going to... Look, the old man for the Clippers, I can't think of his name, the old owner of the Clippers.
Sterling, yeah.
Mr. Sterling. He can't help himself. And then he was on TV talking about how sorry he was and what he did a dumb thing and he said a dumb thing. You don't come up overnight and say shit like that.
Well, I think he does.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's right. And that's what I was saying about earlier. I mean, these old guys were brought up in a certain culture where that sort of thing was said. But time has moved on.
And it is instilled in them.
Moved on.
It's,
I'm sorry, Walt, go ahead, please.
But I was just going to say it's moved on, but there's a lot of repetition, and you know, I think that one of the people that I sort of find fascinating, I don't know if you know him, is this guy named Kevin Phillips, who's a economist and a political scientist. But his claim to fame was he was the architect of Richard Nixon's Southern strategy back in the first time that Nixon won election. And the one, for example, before Nixon won election, the South was basically Democrat, but it was the Strom Thurmond type of Democrats, right? The Dixiecrats and so on that were in alliance with the Northern Democrats to keep the Democrats in power. And then Phillips crafted this strategy to sort of use the racial issue and other things to, I mean, not directly, but kind of implicitly, right?
Yes.
To allow the Republicans to win the election. So Phillips now writes books, and his his thing is, he said, I can't believe how bad the Republicans are now. You know, Nelson Rockefeller and Nixon would have been progressive in today's Republican Party, and he's probably right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, and then didn't Lee Atwater come after him?
Yeah.
And
I mean, anyway, so Phillips, he's been writing these books about American theocracy. I mean, he really, you know, like George Bush's point, the younger Bush's point of view on the world, and so on and so forth. A book on wealth and democracy in America, and a really good book called Bad Money. And it's extremely interesting to see that, because he was the person who actually crafted the strategy that put those Republicans in power. And he's found that things have evolved to such a point that this doesn't look like anything he's ever seen before.
Yeah, well, but the thing about it too that I continue to say about what's going on with the Republican Party now is that they have this tiger by the tail, and there's nothing that they can do with it. You know, these are the kind of things that once you start them and they get rolling, you can't. What is it? You can't call back the wind.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Right.
And so, just like with what happened out in Nevada with Clive and Bundy and the militia people and all that other stuff, and also the American Spring Rally. Did you guys hear about that in Canada and Australia?
No, Jackie, I think I missed that.
Okay.
No.
So anyway, you know, these militia guys who are out in Nevada, you know, they are part of a whole militia movement in the United States. These people who seem to think that, you know, they're going to bring their guns and bring the government to its knees.
They can't even get along themselves. How are they going to bring anybody to their knees? They're already on TV talking about each other. That some bitch tried to kill me.
Yes, I know. But, you know, but that's what eventually happens to hate groups. They all kill each other.
Yeah, hate eats them up.
But anyhow, they had a rally planned for this past Thursday, I believe it was, or maybe it was Friday, where they had said that there were going to be 10 to 30 million militia people to descend upon Washington, D.C. and demand...
How many what?
Can I finish, please?
Wait, what did you say? 10 to 30 million?
Yes. Yes, and since the U.S. population is roughly 320 million, that means that, you know, about 10% of the entire population was going to go to Washington. Right? And I don't know how they couldn't call themselves organizing this, but anyway. So that's what was supposed to happen, and they had all this stuff on the internet that they were sending out and tweeting out, and, you know, they were going to have this mass demonstration. and they were going to demand that Barack Obama leave the White House immediately because they wanted to do what they did in Egypt. The people took to the streets, and their dictator was forced from office, and so that's what they were going to do.
And all Barack and the CIA is going to do is send a few drones in there and clear that shit right out.
Yeah, so anyway, when the day came, there were some people who came, and they had their signs that said arrest Obama and all this other stuff, but it wasn't 10 to 30 million people.
No. What was it? It
was the Park Service estimated somewhere between 200 and 300. Which
I knew this was coming. Listen, you remember when Barack Obama was running and John McCain was the nominee for the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. John McCain came to Florida, he and Sarah Palin, and 300 or 400 people showed up. There was no coverage or nothing on this thing. Barack Obama comes to Florida. They've rented out the arena, which holds 22,000. And that got scratched immediately because something like 75 to 100,000 people showed up. Mm-hmm. And we just had to do on the arena grounds. And then they even had to stop people from coming on the arena grounds. That was too packed. It was funny as hell. These people have they're just lost.
Yeah. Well, the organizer of the event said that the turnout was somewhat disappointing.
That was flat out pitiful.
Yeah,
and Jackie,
but I want you guys to think about this, though, that these people really believed that this was something that was going to happen. I mean, even if you just look at, like, the numbers that they're talking about,
yeah,
it was just stupid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that it's just stupid, but they sit around talking to each other, and if you're talking in this little group, and I saw some video from the event, mm-hmm. where, they have their Arrest Obama signs and their Don't Tread on Me flags and all of that other
mm-hmm.
stuff. And there's this one guy who was just annoyed, and he's yelling into the camera, "Where are you at? We put out the call. We've been planning this for months. You said you were coming. Where are you at? We're here."
He was talking to the president, Jackie.
No, he was talking to his fellow patriots, his fellow militia members.
Oh, he was upset that they weren't there.
Yes.
Where you?
Well, one of the things, speaking of coming out and going back, let's close the circle here and go back to your comment about Eric Holder, right? One of the things he said, in that address that I saw covered in the newspaper was the situation about voting rights. And being careful that you've got to, if you think you're going to win an election or something, you've got to get people out. And you've talked about that. We talked about that last week. Mm-hmm. And the question about the states and the states controlling who votes, and I think it's important that people talk about that, because there's no point in saying you're going to win an election if your people aren't registered to vote.
That's right.
That's right. And if they can't register to vote.
And if they can't register to vote. Right. And it is so very important, and that's why on every show that I have, that I say to people at some point or another in the Nothing But the Blues, Up All Night with Brenda White, and right here, whatever shit they're trying to put on you to get your ID and be registered to vote, just think about the slaves and what they went through. It's not going to kill you. We can do it. Just start getting ready to do it. Because you can hire all the Democratic presidents you want, but if the Republicans control the Senate and the Congress, or either one of them, you're going to have a hard time with that president getting his policies through.
Exactly.
Now, we can, Barack Obama wants to overhaul immigration. He believes that it needs to be done. He wants to do it, but he's got those bastards in the House that Congress will do. What you got to do is make sure you get your ass out in your states and send a Democratic congressman and senator up to Capitol Hill to work with the president, because as Mitch McConnell has said, a.k.a. Total Man, he is not going to, their job and the promise they made to themselves the night that he took the oath of office was that they were going to stop him. They
were going to oppose him.
That they were going to oppose
turn.
that at every turn, and their job and what they were fighting for was to make sure that he was a one-term president. Now, of course, they all know that he is legitimately the president, but they will let their crazy people come out and say whatever they want because they need those crazy people votes. You know, they don't have enough intelligent people on their side.
The thing that I've often wondered about, though, is that if the Republican Party went out and went ahead and just kicked their crazy people out, as I was listening today, how William F. Buckley kicked the John Birch Society out of the conservative movement back in the day.
Jackie, I'm sorry I burst out laughing in the middle of your... Jill just folded her arms real tough on her sofa and said there'd be no one left. If they kicked out.
She might be right about that, actually.
What was your question, Jackie?
Listen, there would not be many left, right? But I think that the people who have been dispossessed in the Republican Party would come home. You know, moderate Republicans, think about somebody like the former governor and soon-to-be governor again of Florida, Charlie Crist. Charlie Crist, during the 2008 election, when they were having all of these voting issues, he signed an executive order mandating that the polls stay open until everybody who was in line got to vote.
And what
his Republican colleagues were most upset with him. About that. But
they started calling him gay and everything.
I'm a Republican, but I'm an American first.
And
so I think that they would be able to get people like that to come back home to them. And just like I was talking with you about earlier about the number of votes cast in these primaries, you know, the political pundits continue to tell us that the Republicans are really psyched and excited about getting out to vote. Well, if you look at a lot of these returns tonight, it looks just the opposite.
Well, Jackie, you know they don't know the truth and won't accept it, even if you come up and slap them dead in the face. They're not going to accept the truth because they have to perpetrate these lies.
Yeah,
that
well,
they got all these
the
votes.
thing is that they just have their own version of the truth. And one of the things that one of my political theory professors told me is that there's only one set of facts, but everybody makes their own truth. And I'm beginning to think that there isn't even one set of facts. These people are making up their own facts and their own.
And the Republicans, they're not even making up truth. They are telling damn lies straight out. Okay, now, Jackie, all right, we got to move on. And we're going to let the show run over about 15 minutes, but we got to move on. I want to talk about fat-ass Governor Christie.
Okay.
You know, I've done some things in my life that had my credit up or down, but they never been as bad as New Jersey's. He has taken New Jersey's credit for a 6th credit rating hit, and it's continuing to go down. And so he finally admitted how he was going to close this $8 million loophole ditch that he dug for the people of New Jersey, the taxpayers.
And how's he going to do it?
What's the first thing out of his mofo mouth? Pensions.
Yes, he's going to cut pension payments.
He's going to cut pension payments. Now, these people have worked all these years. I don't understand how they get away with that. You promised these people that within 30 years or 40 years of work, they were going to receive this amount of money. And as soon as what he did was he gave away all of this government money, even Sandy money, to his donors who had laid big money to him. He turns around and gives them $25 million and $50 million, and now he spent all the money, and so he's ruining New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, just like Kansas, Missouri, and these other fools who are following these Republican fools down the rabbit hole. I don't understand it, Jackie. And you know, this has become his next big story.
Oh, I know.
They've almost stopped talking about the bridge scandal because this $800 million hole that he dug for them and put them in there, and now already telling he's not raising taxes on the wealthiest of Americans and da-da-da, but he's ready to cut these pension plans.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it, Brenda, I don't believe that it's legal for him to do that.
I don't either.
And so, you know, it's going to be even more expensive because they're going to have all these lawsuits. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Jill, do y'all have anything like that in Australia? Do you have that kind of system set up? What do you do when y'all retire? What do y'all do when y'all retire?
Okay, so we have compulsory superannuation. So a part of your a percentage of your salary, at the moment it's 9.25% of your salary is paid into this superannuation plan by the company, and you can top that up yourself. And so when people retire, they're meant to have this superannuation that they can retire on. If they fall below the threshold of living, then they get that topped up with a pension. Now, we've just had our budget released, and the budget has hit pensioners, the disabled, the unemployed, and students so badly. It's the worst budget that's been out in decades, and there's been riots, and our Prime Minister had to cancel an opening of a university research centre because the federal police had said to him that he was going to get jostled and whatnot. And,
jostled? Jackie, did you hear her? The federal police had told him that he was going to get jostled. That means get an ass whipping.
I love the way that Aussies talk, don't you? I love it. Jostled. I'm keeping that one.
Oh, sorry, Jill. We were laughing. Go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah, no, that's okay because so we've got these really bad policies at the moment. They raised the pension age, so people can't access the pension until they're 70 years old now, which means they've got to keep working until they're 70 if they don't have enough superannuation stored up. So yeah, we do have these plans. They're meant to be really good, and for people who are now retired, who didn't lose money in the GFC. They are okay, but for those of us who aren't retirement age, going forward, we won't be okay, pretty much.
Okay, and what is the what's your money? What do y'all use? Like we got the dollar and
dollars.
Oh, y'all use the dollar there. Okay, I didn't know Australia used our money.
And we our dollar is almost pay parity with your dollar. So. Okay. You know, when I talk dollars, it's almost the same. It's almost the same. It didn't used to be. Your dollar used to be, we had to pay 2 of our dollars to get 1 of your dollars.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys made money when you came to us, and we lost money when we went to you.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's pay parity. It's almost parity, yeah.
You know, the first time I ever visited Canada, my boyfriend at the time went on to be my husband, flew me in from Augusta, and he flew in from Houston, and I'm waiting on him, and that was when the computer chip was the most important thing to snatch from people at the airport, you know. And because he was a writer, he got held up in customs all about this computer chip, and I'm out there at the bar, and I'm drinking, and every time I gave the bartender $5 to pay my beer, and my beer was $3 or $4 or whatever, then he would give me back, maybe $8 and something. And I was like, what is going on? And he said, your dollar is worth more than ours. And no shit. But let me tell you, when I got ready to come home and I had to cash that in, of course, you know what I got back, right? But I always found that very interesting, the money, how it flows and works. Okay, Jackie, so Chris Christie is in big trouble, and we wait to see what's happening. Do you have
but the thing about Chris Christie is simply this. He has a multitude of problems, and you talk about people just being in denial. He's in absolute denial.
Yes,
because this whole Port Authority thing, not just the bridge, but with what he did with money that was supposed to go for something else, he did something else.
And people are still living in cars and stuff. That is disgusting what he did after getting that money from the president.
Yeah, so, not the Port Authority money and the Sandy aid and just a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And now he's being investigated. I'm paying no attention to what they're doing in the legislature because they're just doing what they do.
Yeah.
But the Justice Department, the Manhattan District Attorney, and the Attorney General of the state of New York. Okay, do you understand me?
Uh-huh.
There's some real live criminal investigations going on.
Yeah. And as I understand it, New Jersey.
Guys a while, but this is not going to go well for Chris Christie. And then after this came out, and I learned what his background is. Chris Christie, he was not qualified to
be in the position of a justice,
right?
At all.
Yeah, he should never have been a federal prosecutor.
Thank you. George W. Bush put him in that.
Kind of like on a fluke. This is, so
well, here's what he did,
I get the
Jackie.
feeling that this is going to go real bad.
Well, George W. Bush put him in there because he jumped in and raised about $100,000 for him.
Yeah, but and just raising that bit of money got him that gig.
And now he's acting like...
What is speculated, looking back on his time in the Justice Department, is that, it's like he put away the political rivals of some other kingmaker.
Yeah, and I don't know why he's sitting here like he doesn't know what the law is. But he's arrogant and uppity. And he thinks that he's got this thing beat. He thinks he's smarter, but Jackie, he's in some big trouble.
Yeah, he is. And just like, I don't know if New Jersey could take another credit rating downgrade. Quite frankly,
I can't wait to see his fat ass walk the plank myself.
Yeah, well, this is the more that this goes on, and the more things that happen, it just looks worse and worse.
For his butt.
For his administration and for him.
Okay, well, let's get to your last topic tonight. You had something funny for us.
Yeah, I just had one fun thing because we've been talking about race.
All the serious stuff. Yeah.
And monopolies and stuff.
And before Jackie gets to the fun stuff, y'all, let me say to you one more time. All you youngsters out there, middle age, old, in between, you really must vote in your state elections. You have got to get involved, and you have got to not just let these crazy folks go up here to Congress. Because I tell you once again, if you get a crazy congressman and a crazy Republican and send them up there, none of those people are going to work with Barack Obama. None of them. Because they're too afraid to. Even if they're sane enough to do so, they're afraid to do so. So you got to get involved in your state elections, electing your senators and your congressmen, okay? All right, that's all I want to say. And whatever little trials that they're putting you through to get ID and to get registered to vote, you got to do it. I always think about, and I don't know why I do this, but every time I think a situation is so tough, I always think about the slaves and say, you ain't having to do shit. You ain't having to do shit with what they had to go through. You're in air conditioning. You're having to call a few people or write a damn letter on a computer or your electric typewriter or send a text. It's not difficult. It's not hard. Whatever shit they try to put you through, get yourselves prepared. Just like if you wanted to go see Michael Jackson or somebody, catch a damn ride. But get yourself involved. Get yourself registered to vote and pass this on to your little young friends. Y'all are running the streets and having a good time. And because you can take a white girl or a white boy to a prom and vice versa, honey, they will stop that shit real soon. They're real mad about that too. Now, it used to be you knew your place and you knew you weren't allowed to go walking down the street and holding hands with a white boy or a white girl and vice versa. But that shit is trying to come back. I'm telling you, y'all, you better get involved. You better not look away. Right, Walt?
I just wasn't quite sure about the vice versa.
Okay, I know y'all.
Vice versa, vice the vice.
Okay,
I think, I'm not quite sure about that.
yeah, that means you know what it means. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. And I'm just sounding like the old folks. But Walt said to me a couple of weeks ago, that's how he got on this panel. Because he said to me a couple of weeks ago, wow, Brenda, you know, they're talking about the New York Times or Washington Post or somebody wrote that there's an 80% chance that the Republicans are going to sweep the House and the Senate. And I said, hell no, over my dead body. It's not going to happen. We are not that asleep. And so you better open your minds, open your eyes, and talk to your neighbors, your friends. You know, I don't want you trying to convince no Tea Party, and because you got to get in a fight with that motherfucker. But I'm just saying, get involved with your friends, your neighbors, where you work. Tell people they've got to vote, and they've got to start on that state level. We know everybody's going to vote when the presidential thing comes around, but it's got to be involved on that state level. We need Democratic senators and congressmen to help work with a Democratic president. Bill Clinton left us a surplus, and George Bush and the Republicans parted that shit away and then crashed the damn country. Someone was talking on Rachel last night, and they said, you know, people just don't know how very close we were to coming to an end.
Yeah, that's true.
It was really bad, and people just didn't know because the Republicans were running around lying and throwing dirt over their shit like cats and dogs. Well, a cat anyway, right? But please, y'all, get involved, get involved, get involved. Because these kids will wake up one day, y'all better stop messing with that ecstasy and shit and mollies and get your ass out here and start paying attention to what's happening around you. Because
Brenda, may I just say something?
What?
You know, because you always talk about, you know, the youngsters, but, you know, the youngsters these days are, you know, they're not doing too bad.
They're a little more involved than we think.
Yes. You know, so anyway,
well, that's
you know,
good.
when I think about my daughter and her friends, I mean, yeah, they're teenagers, but they're, you know, I mean, they educate themselves on the issue.
Well, you're right, Jackie.
You know, I mean, so you know.
So I'm not going to be too hard on them. I let my little niece shake me with that, you know, because she didn't believe that Barack Obama was helping the black people.
Oh, ridiculous.
I said,
but,
what are you doing?
Even though, yes, there's some like her, yeah. I believe they're way more like my kids.
I said, are you kidding me? You think Barack Obama has time to go to every community center and have a community monthly meeting with y'all? I said, let me ask you this. What are you doing for your neighborhood and your community? What programs have you tried to start, or what grants have you tried to get? I ain't tried to do nothing. No, you just smoking reefer, having a good time. I said, well, I tell you what, you can sit around and not vote, or you can vote for the Republicans. I said, you get about, $700 a month for you and your 3 girls, 3 babies. I said, Republicans gonna cut that shit off. Oh, she stopped talking then. She stopped talking about Barack Obama and how he wasn't doing nothing for him. And that just always has made my ass want to dip a snuff to hear you talk about a one man going to every damn community and having y'all learn how to start a community, get a grant, build a basketball court or park for your...
Well, you know, the thing about that, too, is simply what you were saying. You know, the information's out there. You have to get off your ass and get it if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and you're going to keep smoking reefer.
Okay, so can we do this now, Brand?
Yeah, you're going to keep smoking reefer till shit pass you by, and you're going to come out the door one day and go to see your white friend and get hung. Because they're going to take us right back if you keep letting them go this way. All right. Okay. So now that I've given you all the gloom and doom, we shall hear from Jackie and the last of her funny stuff, and Jill and Walter chime in, and then I'll say goodbye.
Okay. All right. So I know that Walt is familiar with the National Football League in the United States. Do you watch football?
I don't watch it as much as I used to. I'm more of a basketball and a baseball guy, but yeah, I'm familiar with the NFL.
Okay. Jillian, what about you? I know that all over the rest of the world, football is what we call soccer. but we have our own games, of course, as you know, right?
So, all right, she's asking, are you familiarized with our football NFL?
Familiarized?
Familiarized. The vernacular of the vernacular.
Well, I'm not as familiarised as I'd like to be with some of those football players, but
okay. Yeah. Well, Jillian. I know I told Jillian about this before, but I love that Australian rules football. I mean, you Aussies are psychos. They don't even wear pads. Okay.
Ooh.
Sorry. Okay.
No.
But anyhow, in recent months,
Jackie,
women have sued several
Jackie,
NFL.
Jill is talking to you. She said she's trying to tell you that rugby is the game.
Oh, it's rugby. It's not Australian rules football.
Not.
Well, I watch rugby.
Rugby is hard to understand. I mean, it looks like people just sort of go there and grab each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of students who played rugby, and oddly enough, they were all good students, but I never understood that. We just kind of get in this pile and look for somebody else's private parts.
Jackie. Walt sound like...
I knew Walt was going there. I knew he was going there.
Jackie, Walt sound like Rain Man. Charlie Babbitt made it funny.
Listen.
You're killing me, Walt. I love you.
Listen, okay, we are never going to finish this show. You guys know that, right?
Yeah, we got 4 minutes. We're going to finish this show. Let's go.
Okay, all right. In recent months, women have sued several NFL franchises over alleged labor violations. Okay. A lot of the NFL cheerleaders are just paid a flat fee for games, but they are not compensated for their practice and rehearsal times and for the hours of community public relations stuff that they are required to do,
and the sofa
as
duties,
part of their job.
And the sofa duties.
Excuse me?
And the sofa duties. The couch duties.
Well, Brenda, I don't know anything about sofa duties. Will you just let me finish, please? So, anyhow, there's this one cheerleader who is suing the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and she said that her pay was less than $2 an hour for the time that she devoted to the team over the course of 2 seasons.
Ooh.
Now, earlier this month, the Buffalo Bills franchise tried to have the lawsuit against them thrown out, claiming the pay and treatment of the cheerleaders was the responsibility of outside contractors, but the judge was having none of that.
Yeah, you know they pay them about $15 per game.
Well,
so
most of these women were saying that they're paid around $100, $125 per game.
Oh, they got
still have all this other stuff to do. I'm sorry?
Home game.
That's pretty low, to say the least.
No, yeah, it's really low. That's what they're paid per game, and all of these women have jobs.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so they have full-time jobs, and then they have their practice and rehearsals and fittings,
which requires how many
all of
hours?
This other stuff, and they are not paid for any of that.
Which
now,
requires. Wait, Jackie, did they tell how many hours all of that mess required? Practice and fittings and.
Right, exactly, and so like the practice and fittings are about 20 hours a week.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah, and the and then most of the teams require.
That's a part-time job.
Yeah, and but in addition to that, most of the teams require their cheerleaders to do community events.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, and they have to give so many hours to community events. Like this one woman said that they had to do 40 hours of community events over the course of the season.
No, that ain't right.
No, it's not right. Now, one of the things that I knew is I knew that these professional teams cheerleaders were not paid a lot of money.
I knew that too, and it used to be $15 a game.
I never understood why the women agreed to do this. Okay, but anyway, this goes to like the pay gap thing, and when you think about how much money professional football teams make,
yes, billions,
but they do not want to pay these people who add to the enjoyment of the game, let's say.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And so, what are they planning on doing, Jackie? Getting rid of cheerleaders altogether?
Well, now, there is one franchise. I'm trying to think of which franchise was it that they have already gotten rid of their cheerleaders. There is a franchise that just did that.
It sure is, Jack, and I'm trying to think of who it is too, and the fans aren't too happy about it.
But it wasn't the Buffalo Bills. I think it was the Cincinnati team. I think it was the Bengals. Because they said they were just going to get rid of their cheerleaders altogether.
Yeah.
Well, the NFL just got hit with that other big lawsuit today by the players that
what was
claiming, I don't know how many millions of dollars for the fact that they were sent in the games with medication to mask sort of injuries of some sort of serious nature and all that kind of thing. There's a huge amount of money involved in that, and that's going to be a lot of bad publicity over the next few days, I would assume. No,
people always want to say
it most certainly will be, but the thing about these sports franchises, including college, because Brenda made some reference earlier to this, the idea that college athletes should be paid. Okay, this particular system has been going on for a really long time, and I think that folks have just gotten fed up with it. For instance, the NCAA, after his team wins the national championship, the National Basketball Championship, and he says to one of the reporters that, well, sometimes we have hungry nights, right? Sometimes I go to bed hungry. I'm a star point guard at the national championship, for the national championship basketball team in the country, college team in the country.
And it's not right.
And I go to bed hungry even though I'm on scholarship. And so after that statement, the NCAA immediately, went and said, oh, well, we're going to stop restricting their food. Restricting their food? Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole other... that's a whole other subject, which,
that ain't restricting shit.
You can familiar with, but my son played college baseball for 4 years and actually worked in NCAA compliance for a couple of years after that. So that's a really complicated subject, and it is really very a good one. And because there's such a discrepancy, for example, between football and basketball and all the other sports in terms of what money they bring in and all that kind of thing, right? So it's a whole different discussion because.
Well, let me say,
so much money involved in football and so much money involved in basketball. If you go out and play, I don't know, lacrosse or something, or pick any of the other sports, track or something that don't attract a lot of spectators and don't have a lot of investment,
right?
Then basically you're a regular athlete, more or less.
Well, me and my husband was a professional sports writer, and he had to cover this story for years, and I said then I thought they should be paid. My husband believed they should be paid. He's a well-known sports writer. And my thing is, I don't care how big of a star you are at the school, they all get the same pay. But they need some kind of weekly pay. I mean, these guys, a lot of them are coming from the hood, broken homes. They're poor. They get these scholarships. But what's their mama going to send them? You need some money in college. You want to take a girl out to a movie. You want to have a pizza. They don't have clothes. My son's father is the head coach of Grambling State University. And of course, when I have the opportunity, I ask him about that kind of stuff. And he said that there have been so many times that he's had to give kids coats, which is totally against the rules. They get some kid from Florida, they recruit him and bring him up to Pittsburgh or something, and these kids don't have clothes for that kind of weather.
Well, that's not even taken into account, all the things you need to do to get a degree, and if you do get a degree. And
he told me that if they buy those kids a coat, they have broken NCAA rules.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And poor kids their parents can't do what rich parents can do for their kids, black or white. Send them there in a car, and they have a weekly allowance, of $300 or whatever. These kids deserve something.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that even $200 or $300 a week is too much. But these
Brenda,
schools,
the thing about it is that the NCAA has finally admitted to something that they've known all along, and that is that the scholarships they give the athletes do not cover the entire cost of college.
of course not.
And so they are changing those rules. But, you know, Walt, what you were saying about different sports bring in different things, you know, where, you know, I went to one of the big football schools here. And the thing that was always annoying to me, is that the athletic director made more money than the chairman of the political science department.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
And I know why, Jackie, because
you know that even though all this money is coming in to big time athletics, the benefit, the monetary benefit to the school was kind of negligible, because it all goes back into the athletic program. And what the athletic directors tell everybody is that, well, you know, we can't use any of this to build new labs because we need it for the athletic program, and it's just the notoriety of this team helps to make the university better.
Well, you know,
so you know there are a lot. You know, I mean, when talking about this, there are just a lot of
and these football teams and basketball.
The thing about it, if a university is supposed to be providing liberal education to young people, then that is what its main focus should be. And I think that one of the problems with all of this NCAA stuff is that has become lost. What universities are for.
Yeah, Jackie, it's all about the sports, football and basketball, the two biggest games. Listen, it is because of football and basketball that all of these universities can build new buildings. Football and basketball, they provide for tennis courts, golf, any other sport. Football and basketball takes care of that. They bring in $400 million.
Yeah, I understand that. But like I said, it's just for athletics. But one of the points that I want to make to kind of wrap this up, is just that I think that what's going on in the United States right now around labor relations is how working folks have just been decimated over the last 30 years. Unions have been, you know, broken up. Everybody is feeling the pinch. It's just like we were discussing last week, what Walt was talking with us about, how much pay has increased in Canada over the last 20 years, in Germany over the last 20 years, and then you look at the United States, we don't even make 0.5% of 1% of a raise over 20 years.
And I wanted to ask Jill, Jill, tell me, how does this thing work in Australia? Are women going through what the women here are going through, getting less than men for the same job, less pay?
Yeah, it is here, that's for sure. It's not as bad as what it used to be. In fact, I've just been talking to somebody about when I entered the workforce in the late 70s, early 80s, the newspaper, which is the place I used to go to, had sections for jobs for men and jobs for women.
Really?
And I was part of the... I was part of the movement to change that. And then I left Australia and went and lived in another country, but then my comrades, if you will, went on the warpath to march for equal pay. And I think in the 70s, women were like getting 50% less than what the men were getting. And today, women are still not getting pay parity with men. But it's not huge. You know, a male, let's say a male CEO might be getting $500,000 a year. The female CEO might get $400,000 a year. So, you know,
and that's what that big story
it was, but it's certainly,
Walt, how about women in Canada?
Yeah, well, I think that there's still a discrepancy, but you know, things are changing. I know that, for example, where I taught, there are more and more women in the medical profession, for example. You know, I think that over at least half of the people who are studying to become doctors now are female. You know, so and things like the sciences, for example. I know that there's been a lot of progress made in the number of women out there. I don't really know about the stats. I'm sure that, you know, women's pay is still not exactly what the men's is, but but the government, for example, here in Quebec has made that a big election issue. For example, equality and all kinds of issues for men and women being written into the laws, constitution, the whole business. So I think it's a positive thing. But on the other hand, they're still not at a point where you can say that everything is exactly the way it should be, right? So.
Yeah, and that's a little, in some countries women rule completely, but the Amazons where Tarzan went, that ain't for real, right?
Well, the lady who was the Prime Minister of Quebec was just defeated in the last election, but that wasn't because she was a woman, I don't think.
Okay.
It was a bad campaign.
What, Gia, what were you saying?
Talking about women ruling, New Zealand is a very small country in the South Pacific.
Right.
A couple of years ago, their Chief Justice was a woman, their Governor General was a woman, their Prime Minister was a woman, the Police Commissioner was a woman. Women were getting equal pay. It's a matriarchal society. So women are revered there, unlike in Australia and America, which are patriarchal societies, and therefore that's why women are exploited to the extent that they are. And that's why I get up in arms sometimes about the white middle-class male, present company excluded waltz, but it's driven by the colonist attitude that, men are right and white is might and da-da-da-da-da. And
and if it wasn't for us, their ass...
my high horse about it.
And if it wasn't for us, their asses wouldn't even be here. Well, I guess we wouldn't either.
Yeah, why did I know you were going to say that?
Well, meanwhile, I got to get a little fun in there. Hey, guys, listen. This conversation, any conversation we're having is always the best. I love it, love having y'all. And we can't help but go over. Our show's turned into a 3-hour show.
Oh, not even close.
Well, yes, you are. You are 19 minutes away from a 3-hour show tonight, Lucy.
Yeah, it's going to be time for a glass of wine, I think.
Okay,
I got to go to bed.
Yeah, I got to go to bed. I got a beer in the freezer. Gia, what you got?
Yeah, I've got the bottle of wine over here somewhere.
Jill said she got to walk the dog. We were talking about what drink you're going to have, Jill. Not what exercise you had to get.
Yeah, well, it's a bit early for me. I haven't had lunch yet, so yeah. I might have something after lunch, and it'll be a Chardonnay.
Well, a Chardonnay. Well, I am headed out of town tomorrow night, and so I expect to be broadcasting from Forest City, Arkansas, on Thursday night for Up All Night with Brenda White. And Friday night, I don't think I'm going to make a broadcast again, but I think what I'm going to try to do is release a what do they call them, an episode for you, a podcast for you, so that you won't miss your blues. I'll try to do that somewhere in the middle of the night or the morning. But I got big goings on in Arkansas. It is my class reunion and my family reunion. So that's going to run me real crazy and a whole lot of fun. And then I'm going to stay another week to go down on Beale Street and sing and visit with my blues friends. So I'm going to be on the road for a little bit, but I will try and broadcast from where James Brown says, wheresoever I am. Wheresoever Bobby, I don't know, but whatsoever I play. So wheresoever I am, I'm going to try and bring you the broadcast. But you can look for us most definitely on Tuesday night. I will be back in pocket in Arkansas, relaxing a bit before the next weekend comes up and taking off to Beale Street. But I will miss you all very, very much if I miss the show. And Jackie and Jill will miss you too. Now, if I could teach Jackie to go into the studio and do some recording for me and stuff. Maybe Jill can handle that. Anyway, guys, hey, listen. So we have once again had a great had our usual crazy panel. They're intelligent, but they're crazy. Because why are they crazy? Because they're working with me. But once again, we've had our wonderful panel. Miss Jillian, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar Anderson down in Australia, putting her Aussie point of view on things. Mr. Walter M. DeBile out of not Toronto, Montreal, Canada. I'm thinking about Rob Ford. Where Rob? Where Rob? I want to hit Rob. Where you at? Do you know where Rob is, and is he coming back?
No. I thought you were taking care of her.
I told Jill to find out where he was. That's her job. And the uppity and well-read Jacqueline Lambert. Of course, you know I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White. Okay, so here at Let's Talk About It, we believe that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And what else do we believe, Jackie?
Free your mind, honey, and your ass will follow.
I've always wanted to hear Jill say that. Did you hear it? It was wonderful. And your ass will follow. Not your ass, but your ass. I like that, Jill. Okay, y'all. So, the crew of Let's Talk About It, we are out of here. We thank you so much for joining us. Let me thank DJ Tony Sanchez, my baby Mini-Me. Gaia Baselli herself is in the chat room. And me, and you know, I just thank all of you. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you get yourselves ready to vote. Okay? All right. So I love you. I'll see you next Tuesday night. Don't worry about a thing. Everything's gonna be all right. All right. We're out.
You're asking today, how long will it take? Somebody's asking, how long will prejudice blind the visions of men? I come to say to you this afternoon, however difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth pressers will rise again. How long? Not long. Because no lie can live forever. How long? Not long. Because you shall reap what you sow. How long? Not long. Lose forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yes, that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. How long? Not long. Because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. How long? Not long. Because mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's trampling out the village where the grapes of wrath was stored. He's loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is lifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, stand for him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah.